Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey everybody, welcome in. Welcome to J is for Justice. My name is Jay. Am I unmuted or am I muted? Am I a muted looking ass? Can you hear me and is there no buzzing? Let me know if there's any buzzing. First off, I want to say thank you to whoever was the awesome person who got me a new monitor on my Amazon wish list. You guys is so amazing. Thank you so much, whoever you are. Make yourself known. So now I have two big monitors. So now my blind ass can see. No buzzing. All right. No crime time buzz tonight. Welcome in, guys, to a Friday night stream. So I saw that Nash Native said that this guy's wife works at the female correctional facility. I did not know that. And then who do we have? The one, the only, Shane Culkin. What's up, Shaney? It's so good to see you. Shane, I texted you the other day. I do have an Amazon wish list. And it was so nice. Thank you. A dual screen cooter. You're buzzed. You don't feel buzzed. You don't hear buzzing, but you're buzzed. Hey, it's Friday night. Why not? Why not? Welcome in. Kels, I'm glad you're home and safe. It's good to see you. Good to see all of you. Yeah, I guess she's a correctional officer. That's new to me. But we do have an interview with his lawyers that's going to give us a little bit insight into what his defense may be. Welcome in, everyone. If you could hit that like button tonight, that would be greatly appreciated. So I know all of us have seen this preliminary hearing. It was very short. They showed the video of the sheriff shooting the judge. We know that they went to a luncheon before going back to the chambers. At the luncheon, it was heard that the judge said, do we need to talk privately in my chambers? So that is what they went back and did. Well, the other odd thing is that they confiscated a third phone. So he entered the judge's chambers, locked the door, and then proceeded to call his daughter from his own phone. And then the judge gave him his phone. And he called from there. And then the shooting took place. Now, a third phone was confiscated from an employee. Because like the jail, it's like Latah County if you followed Idaho 4. You know how the courthouse was in the same building as the jail. So it's the same dealio. The jail, all of that is all in the same building. So they confiscated a woman's phone who was working out in the, in the other part of the court. And I don't know who she is. I don't know much more about this. Country Bumpkin says, Jay, I'm local to this. The sheriff's wife is not a correctional officer. Country Bumpkins, thank you. Country says she's local to there, and that is a rumor. She said that's a rumor. Hi, Sin. And Potato is here. It's late for Potato, but she's here for it. Oh, my God. Myron's here. Oh, my God.
I flashed and said, wow, pretty far out. I thought it was pretty far out.
Pretty far out that Myron's here. Jason Lee says, I'm still disgusted. They haven't taken the daughter's phone. She's a huge part of this case. You heard she was something LE. Fields' wife is a CO. So Ben Fields, we're going to get into that too. We're going to get into the whole doing sexual favors for, cost of ankle bracelets and things like that. Okay, Ben Fields is the the deputy who actually was just sentenced. Get this. This guy did so many bad things, this deputy, to these drug addicted girls. It's disgusting. But you know what? He got 7 years and only 6.5 of those are probation. Let that sink in. We'll get into Ben Fields. I know we have so many credits. I still say roll the credits, Myron. Stines is on my great-grandma's side, and Mullins is from my great-grandpa's side. Wow, Dustin. If you guys are locals and you would like to email me and possibly come up on the show and discuss this case, please send an email and we will get back with you. It'd be great to have some local input. There is a good YouTube channel. I just don't know if she's biased, but she's got some really good information. It's called Hillbilly Crime. Comments aren't working. Oh, commands. Huh. Sometimes they just pop in, like they just start working, but I'll check on it. Let's watch a little bit of this preliminary. We're just going to watch the cross. And this is where his attorney is questioning the lead investigator who knows absolutely nothing. Did y'all think that was crazy? Did you guys think that was crazy how the lead investigator knew nothing?
No.
You don't know?
No.
Do you think that will be important to learn?
I hope to learn that when the report's ready, yes.
Okay. But as of today, you can't tell us what was currently open on the judge's file?
No, sir.
Did you conduct an interview with Sheriff Stein's daughter?
I did not, but she has been interviewed.
Are you aware of who was present when she was interviewed?
Lieutenant Randy Combs and Detective Anthony Trotter.
She was interviewed with or without her parent?
With.
So her parent was present at the time you interviewed her?
Yes, I believe. I wasn't there, but yes, I think so.
And law enforcement has not spoken to her without her parent present?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did the Kentucky State Police obtain her phone?
No.
Wow.
You intend to obtain records for her cell phone number?
Possibly, yes.
Do you believe that will be soon that you'll do that?
Could be, yes.
Had you already...
Okay, so what he said was, did you guys take the daughter's phone? He said no. And it looks like Streamlabs woke up. You guys woke him up. I believe from what I've heard through the grapevine, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she's 17. I think. That's what I heard. All of this entire show is allegedly, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I might get some things wrong. Myron, I've missed you so much. He's lying under oath. He knows more. Like, how can he not know more, right? He's the lead investigator. But they conveniently, he didn't interview anyone. As the lead investigator, all these other people interviewed all the witnesses. So they did not take the daughter's phone. They took the 3 phones from the courthouse, as far as we know, the 1 female worker, the sheriff, and the judge.
Intended to do that, or did you just respond to my question.
Well, the call should be on the judge's records too.
Well, I understand.
And she's made statements about what occurred during those conversations.
I understand that, but I would presume that, have you ascertained whether Judge Mullins also had apps that stand outside of phone records?
I've not received those records yet. I don't know what's on the phone.
Well, fair enough, but I mean, did you look at the phone? Did it appear there were apps on it?
I'm not the person that's qualified to look through the phone.
Okay, but you're familiar with cell phones. They can host other forms of communication. Yes, sir.
What's the objection?
He's been asked an answer, Your Honor. He's asked the question, I think, about 4 or 5 different ways. The officer, the detective repeatedly said that he does not have a report with phones. He's not looking at the phone. He can't testify that matter.
I'll let him ask the question, and what he can only testify what he has personal knowledge about.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right.
So you're aware that phones can be used for apps such as Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. And that is not something that is captured by cell phone records. You would agree with me?
I agree.
Okay. So in light of that, although the records may be mutually the same, right, the same between Judge Mullins' phone and the sheriff's daughter, do you believe that you could also ascertain other information from the cell phone app content?
Are you asking what apps are on the phone?
Yes. Well, that was my original question.
I don't know
thought
I've not received that report yet. I don't know what apps he had downloaded on the phone.
If he has social...
So 2 weeks in, and he knows nothing. Did I see additional footage? I did not, Stacy.
media apps do you intend to...
That could lead to additional search warrants, yes.
If you would, officer, please let me finish before you move forward, and I'll try to slow down a little bit as well, okay?
Sure.
Thank you, Trooper. Have you determined whether there were...
Okay, I know this might be juvenile to some of you, but what he's trying to do, this is Stines' attorney, Mickey Stines' attorney, and he's trying to figure out what the fuck they know, right? So he's asking all these questions, but they don't need to have anything other than probable cause to bind this over to trial. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. We're not getting anything about motive, which is really frustrating. Nursekins, welcome to the Clicker Crew.
Any previous issues, personal or professional, between Sheriff Stines and Judge Mullins?
I've heard things.
What have you heard?
Just that this regarding the lawsuit that the Letcher County Sheriff's Office is currently involved with.
Okay. The lawsuit that involved ultimately a criminal conviction of a deputy for sexual behavior in the judge's chambers. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. And the subject matter of that lawsuit, the chambers area, that's the same chambers in which this occurred. Is that correct?
I'm not familiar with the details of that case that the lawsuit resulted from.
Okay. Are you aware of any criminal reports that Sheriff Stines had made of Judge Mullins prior to this day?
Lisseros
No.
has just donated $1.99 using J4J411. Liz.
Thank you,
Did you
Lisa.
personally observe Sheriff Stines following this video?
Did I personally observe him? What?
Did you meet with him? Did you talk to him after?
He was in custody when I arrived at the courthouse that afternoon.
And at some point, did you draw any observation about his demeanor?
He was mostly calm, I thought. I mean, I talked to him, but he didn't say nothing about why this had happened. But he was calm. He was kind of afraid that basically all he said was, "Treat me fair." That's basically the comments he made.
Okay. Did he also make a statement about, I didn't see it in the citation here, but somewhere along the line I saw statement being attributed to him about protecting his family?
I wasn't present, but when he was taken into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made the comment, they're trying to kidnap my wife and kid.
There we go. Okay, what the hell does he mean by that? So there's several theories that I've seen flying around there. One is that the sheriff was having an episode, a paranoid, maybe drug-induced episode. Another one is that maybe the sheriff, there was some issues at home, and the wife and daughter turned to the judge as a friend. What could he possibly mean by that? They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid. What's up, Sarah Sarah? I mean, it's just such a why.
Into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made the comment, they're trying to kidnap my wife and kid.
Now, people said that that is his daughter, but not the daughter that is the subject of this. I'm not sure. Now, which one do you guys think it is? I heard that's not her, but she looks about that age. So maybe there was a domestic situation and the wife and daughter were trying to get out. I'm not sure. That's the thing we don't know. But do you guys think that that's her? Because we have another video where he does like a TikTok with her. I'm going to show you that. Right, because I guess they were all close and friends. But see, in Kentucky, if he can prove that he was in a severe emotional state when he did this, if there is... It is, Dustin? Right. If he was in a severe... excuse me. Emotional state. I almost said bless me. Then they can get it from murder to manslaughter. That is the daughter. He only has one daughter, country. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Yes, they did. They were at a luncheon before. Wow. And no one's crying on his side. Like, she's not, it's weird, man. Or was the judge having an affair with his wife? That's another scenario.
Have you ascertained any evidence that this shooting was pre-planned?
No.
Okay.
Not at this time.
And would you agree that from what we've seen so far, from the evidence you've seen so far, the shooting was a reaction to what was on that cell phone in that moment? Is that accurate?
Objection, Your Honor. All speculation outside of his scope of expertise.
Your Honor, I believe that if he has formed an opinion about the investigation up to this point, especially at a preliminary hearing, he can speculate on that, Judge.
Or sustain.
Sure. So,
Hey, Carl.
is there anything other than the content of the phone that this video will reveal to us about why this took place?
No.
What's
Does
the
it
motive
appear
then,
that
Dustin?
this,
Dustin, tell us what the motive is if we're wrong. Tell us what you think it is.
took place as a reaction to what was happening in the chambers at that point?
I can say it occurred after a phone call was made. I don't know what was said or nothing like that. But
Fair enough, and I'm not asking you the content of any of that, but at this point, is it your theory that whatever that content was in the discussion was the impetus of the shooting.
It could be, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Do you have any evidence up until this point that you have developed that would demonstrate that it was not, as a reaction to what was on the phone?
No.
None whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Just if I had just one moment to confer.
I know this is so wild. Why would the judge have his daughter's number in his phone? Yeah, I guess that is her right behind him, Mrs. Smith. So is the other guy Ben Fields? They said that he got angry in the deposition as well that he took for that lawsuit. So the sheriff is facing allegations that he ignored that sexual abuse towards women. Just FYI.
Did you attempt to speak to Sheriff Stines at the Leslie County Jail after the incident?
No.
Did anyone from your agency attempt to interview him?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And at that point, had he asserted his right to an attorney or anything?
No.
But nobody went back to try to talk to him or do an interview?
No.
Okay. I think I have one other question. In addition to cell phones that we discussed, the cell phone of Sheriff Stines and the cell phone that you found of Judge Mullins, were there additional phones that you were able to obtain?
There was one other phone that's currently being examined, and the basic reason it was seized was there was a text conversation between Sheriff Stines and some of his employees with the sheriff's office.
Okay, and that was an additional phone of Sheriff Stines?
It was a phone of, I guess she's the, I don't know what her title is, but she's employed. She's not sworn. She's employed by the Letcher County Sheriff's Office. And she voluntarily gave her phone to the person that interviewed her.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, what could you explain why that was relevant or germane to your investigation?
I didn't conduct that interview, but it was, I guess it was regarding the dinner at Streetside and things that led up to the shooting. But I don't have those results either, so I don't know exactly what was said.
So this all started at the restaurant at lunch, and then they went back to the chambers, right? And he's saying he has no idea what happened. Lead investigator.
I thought when we discussed that earlier that you indicated there was no evidence that the conversations at the lunch.
I haven't seen those conversations yet. I've not received the downloads from the phone.
Right, but I asked you if you're aware of any information that could have been gleaned from witnesses at that meeting, and as I recall, you said no, but there is some information that something was discussed at this lunch. Is that correct?
I don't know what was discussed at lunch.
I understand, but you obtained this lady that we don't know her name, you obtained her phone in an effort or based on a belief that she would be able to demonstrate what was said at lunch. So you would agree with me, you believe that there is a witness or information that may have popped up at lunch.
There's a recorded interview with her in the case, and I'm yet to receive the downloads of the phone, so I don't know what they contain.
2 weeks later.
Has that phone been sent to the forensic examination as well?
Yes.
Thank you. Also, that's all I have. Thank you.
Redirect. Questions? Has Judge Mullins, he's sent to medical examiner's office for an autopsy?
He was.
Have you received that report yet?
Is
No.
Have
that
you
his wife?
had an informal conversation with him regarding his cause of death?
I think that must be his wife right there. Because she's sitting right next to that girl. Right. How can the lead investigator not know shit? 2 weeks. Right. How did they get away with this? I was watching Vinnie Politan cover this, and he was just like, basically, he wasn't buying it that this guy didn't know shit. I mean, do they allow him to, like, not have any information until after the prelim? Just weird. Yeah, I can't read their emotions at all. Isn't that weird? Like, they don't seem shocked or sad or, you know, they're not like crying. It's this is a wild case.
No.
Have you had an informal conversation with him regarding his cause of death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Multiple gunshot wounds.
The video we showed earlier, that a true and accurate clip copy of what you received?
Yes.
Councilman, would you introduce Council Exhibit Number 1, Your Honor?
Any objection?
Your Honor, I'd ask, of course, all we saw today was the clip, but I ask it be admitted in its entirety, Your Honor, as an exhibit.
You want to respond to that?
Judge, I don't think preliminary hearing is required for its probable cause. This statute is probable cause. I think the entire clip is outside the purview of these proceedings today.
Yeah, I think if you're going to want to see the whole video, you should have objected earlier. I'll admit the short clip. Yeah. I have the clerk enter that as exhibit number 1.
All right, they're about to show the video. If you don't want to see someone getting shot, trigger warning, you may want to click off for a minute.
And Detective, is this an ongoing investigation?
Yes, it is.
I mean, like, his daughter is sitting there, and I'm not judging, but like just totally stone-faced at 17 years old. She's about to watch this video of this judge getting shot. Why is she not, like, sad?
And as this ongoing investigation proceeds, you will be also interviewing more people if necessary, submitting more evidence to the lab?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Yeah, I think it's from the judge's side. It's
All right.
emotional.
Any other witnesses for the Commonwealth?
No,
All right, you may sit down. Any witnesses for the defendant? I'll find probable cause and bind this case over the grand jury.
So basically, that's all they needed. But let's go back to the actual video. Trigger warning on this. He didn't watch it. I didn't pay attention. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Now, don't get worked up with me, but I'm going to slow it down a bit because it happens too fast. Okay? Christ almighty. I've never watched it slow. Holy shit. Good Lord. Oh my God. He was still alive because that desk moved. Fuck. Hey, Cheesy Weezy. Oh, I can't. The wailing is awful. But what the hell? So he walked in. So what's weird is like, why is the judge wearing his robe? Why is the judge wearing his robe? They just got back from lunch. Why would he put the robe on? But anyways, he locks the door. We don't see the whole thing, but he locked the door after he entered, after the people left. So when sheriff walked in the room, there were others in there who left. 8 times. Did you guys see the desk move? Oh my God. He actually opened the door before the last shot. He did that last shot with that door wide ass open. Good God. From what people are saying is that the judge that was going to tell on the cops on what they were doing. I'm wondering, Deputy Ben Fields, yeah, we're gonna look at his story. Because I think this may all tie in together. He was not acting on some shit. So this sheriff, everyone who thought, oh, the judge was like essaying his daughter or some shit. This guy right here, he covered up. He did not act on the sexual assault of women. Your cousin heard the shots. He's pleading not guilty, right? 3, possibly 4 backpacks on and under the desk. Well, there were people in the room. I think when he came in, there were other people that exited the room. And then he did what he did. Yeah, I don't think the judge hurt anybody at all. I don't. Yeah, Ben Fields. This all stems back to Ben Fields. And maybe the wife was trying to get away from him because of all of this. Dustin lives there. But take everything in this chat with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what we don't know. But this video is absolutely chilling. When that desk moves, oh my God. Wait, hold on. What is that down there by his feet? Hold on. See, I didn't notice the desk move when you watch it fast. Oh my God. He realized he was... Holy shit, that's... Oh, God, I didn't notice that before, guys. I didn't notice this before. You can see the judge's legs under the... Oh, my God. So watch. See him move? He had something in his hand. That was something in the judge's hands right there. Oh, it's the extension cord. It's like a plug. See the plugs? Can you? Oh, you guys can't fucking see it. Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Hold on. You guys can't see the very bottom. I had it cut off. Sorry about that. Okay, so watch down below the desk. You can actually see the poor judge moving about. Watch. See the plugs down there sticking out on the side of the desk? Now watch. Oh my God, this is horrific. Hey Jess, if you have it, can you email it to me? See, he tries to get away from him. He's trying to scoot down to get the fuck away from the sheriff. That's why the sheriff had to lean down, because he scooted this way. His legs are sticking out the side of the desk where the sheriff was originally standing. No, I'm not. I don't think the judge is necessarily guilty of anything. They were pulling this shenanigans in his chambers. He was not included in the lawsuit. If anybody has the lawsuit, if you could email it to me. The funeral home where the judge was at, we know the owners personally. I know you have a very tight community there, Dustin. I'm picking up what you're laying down. Oh my God. I wonder how he knew he was still alive, because he didn't necessarily see him moving. Watch, what made him turn around and shoot him one last time? Because look, table's moving. He opens the door. And then he goes, look at him. He tries to get away. He couldn't. Oh my God. That is just brutal. Brutal. You don't see anybody? Oh, Barbara, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. I don't know how you can't see the judge. He's clearly sitting at his desk. Watch. Or he was. He's on the floor. He goes underneath the desk, Barbara. Yeah, Ministry. I thought about that. It's so brutal. It's hard to keep watching it. To be honest. See, look at him struggling over there against the wall. Here, let's do this. This is why I love using my OBS versus the StreamYard or whatever, because I can customize my ish. All right, let's get rid of this black box. Okay, there we go. All right, so maybe this will be a little bit easier to see. I know he shot 8 times, but did he actually strike him 8 times? What up, SS? Oh my God. So that's where the table moves, right? And then look at, he puts his gun back in its holster and just walks out. So that's how it started in the very beginning. We didn't see the very beginning because of the angle of the camera. 6 times. Did she? Turning leaves? So you can see right here, I mean, the judge has his hand up. This stance right here. I mean, we don't know what happened prior. All we know is the phones were exchanged. And then it looks like the judge stood up and he has his hand out like he's trying to say something, you know, and it looks like maybe the sheriff got his right hand going for his holster. Right. I agree with you, Country Bumpkins. Why did the judge have the daughter's phone number? People are saying he was mentoring her, whatever. Judge was waving, holding up his hand. Shows sheriff pulling out weapon and judge's reaction. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Smith. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can see from the body language there. That it's definitely scary. Yeah, it is weird, but we don't know enough information yet, like definitively, you know, to say either way. But I just don't get the feeling now that the judge did anything wrong. Thanks, Mrs. Smith. We've got the lawsuit. Let's skim through this lawsuit. This is, I think, in my opinion, this could be what is actually behind this. All right, so let's pull this up. Just give me a second here, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, now would be a perfect time to do so. And again, we have what, 560 people here. If you got me the new monitor from my Amazon wish list and you are in the chat, thank you so very much. If you're replaying this, thank you so very much. I absolutely love it. I can see so much better. I really greatly appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so we have here in the Eastern District of Kentucky, Pikeville Division. This was in 2022, you guys. Sabrina Adkins is the woman that was SA'd. And then Ben Fields, individually and in his official capacity as a deputy sheriff with the Letcher, I hope I'm saying that right, County Sheriff's Department. Unknown supervisors of Ben Fields and Mickey Stines. We don't have the judge on here at all. We don't have the judge on here at all. So it says, this is a civil action for damages for violation of the constitutional rights of plaintiff by the defendants. In addition, the plaintiff alleges that defendant, Ben Fields, is liable under state law. So we're going to fast forward here. We know that he's a deputy sheriff under Mickey Stines. Okay, so this is about the plaintiff. So here's the allegations. The plaintiff, who is Sabrina, was arrested in Letcher County, Kentucky in April of 2021. From April of 2021 through June 2nd of 2021, plaintiff was incarcerated at the Letcher County Jail. In early June 2021, plaintiff was released from the Letcher County Jail and placed on home incarceration. Defendant Fields, a deputy sheriff with the Letcher County Sheriff's Department, was assigned to be plaintiff's home incarceration officer. After she was released, plaintiff had a difficult time finding housing accommodations. Defendant Fields was aware of the plaintiff's housing issues, as well as her domestic issues. Defendant Fields visited the plaintiff in the evening, the night she was released from the jail, to bring her cigarettes and console her. At this time, plaintiff notified defendant Fields that she did not have the money to pay for her ankle bracelet, but she was terrified to return to the county jail. Defendant Fields made flirtatious comments about plaintiff's looks and body and told her that he was confident that they could, quote, work something out. Plaintiff understood these communications to mean she would receive favorable treatment from defendant Fields if she provided him with sexual favors. Therefore, plaintiff and defendant Fields communicated on a regular basis by text messages. In late June of 2021, defendant Fields asked Sabrina to meet her at the Letcher County Courthouse in the evening after dark. Defendant Fields took the plaintiff into District Judge Mullins' chambers, telling plaintiff he wanted to meet her there because there were no cameras. So that explains why there is now cameras in the judge's chambers. Between June and December 2021, so for 6 months, defendant Fields met the plaintiff at the Letcher County Courthouse in the evening or early morning hours approximately 6 times. During these meetings, defendant Fields' behavior escalated from flirtatious comments to forcible kissing to oral sex to intercourse with plaintiff, all of which occurred at the Letcher County Courthouse after hours in Judge Mullins' chambers. Plaintiff was coerced and compelled to comply with defendant Fields' advances. Given defendant Fields' position of power and because she could not afford the ankle monitor and did not want to return to county jail, plaintiff did not consent to the sexual abuse. These meetings would typically occur the night before plaintiff had a court appearance, and defendant Fields would put the plaintiff's ankle monitor back on and otherwise fix it so that she would appear compliant with her home incarceration the following day. Upon information and belief, in late December 2021, certain persons at the Letcher County Courthouse were notified that defendant Fields was having inappropriate communications and or relations with the plaintiff and were provided text messages evidencing the inappropriate communications and relations. So we don't know who notified them. Upon information and belief, defendant Fields became aware of the information, and defendant Fields in December stopped communicating with the plaintiff. In January of 2022, defendant Fields, he got ahead of her. This motherfucker got ahead of her. And the next month in January, so he knew this was all coming down the pike, he filed a complaint against her saying that she was not complying with the terms of her home incarceration. Upon information and belief, this complaint was filed maliciously by the defendant in an effort to punish the plaintiff and an attempt to save his own job and reputation. It's good to see everybody that's just joining. Plaintiff is terrified. She will be transferred to the Letcher County Jail, where upon information and belief, defendant Fields' wife is employed as an officer. Oh my God.
It's in the water. What the f?
I'd be terrified too. I mean, how disgusting. So you have this woman who's just getting out of jail, and this deputy is doing this shit, right? This is like some small town Diddy shit, right? And then the wife is a correctional officer at the jail. And you got him using the judge's chambers. I mean, how much disrespect do you have to, in balls, really, to do something like this in the judge's chambers? And then Stines covered it up. Let's just not forget that. The sheriff is this Fields boss. He knew about this. He ignored other complaints. So the plaintiff has serious concerns for her safety and welfare if she were to be transferred to the jail. Can you imagine being transferred to the jail where his wife is a CO? Like, hell to the no. Thank you, Gypsy. I don't see it, Gypsy, in Discord. Where at? I don't see it. Is it in the clickers? I ain't seeing it. Oh, here it is. Here's Ben Fields striking a... Holy shit. He was in South Carolina? Oh my God. Gypsy, this is horrible. Horrible. Okay, we'll watch that after we read through this. Okay, here we go. Upon information and belief, there are other women that defendant Fields has similarly abused. Upon information and belief, the Letcher County Sheriff and unknown supervisors of defendant Fields failed to adequately train and supervise him. Yes, they did. Upon information and belief, the Letcher County Sheriff knew or should have known that defendant Fields was sexually abusing females, including plaintiff, in his charge. Upon information and belief, the Letcher County Sheriff, which is Shawn Mickey Stines, did not reasonably respond to reports or suspicions of SA perpetrated by Deputy Fields. The defendant's conduct described above has caused severe injury to plaintiff for which she is entitled to recover damages. And then it goes on to say what, he did. It's disgusting. So basically, that's why the Stines guy is on here. But now we see that there's cameras in the judge's chambers because there wasn't before. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is Deputy Fields. Holy shit. All right, let's pull this up here. This is quite disturbing, Gypsy. So he was a South Carolina school officer. Hold on. Let me fix the screen. That is Deputy Ben Fields. This is from a CNN report 8 years ago. 8 years ago. This is a 16-year-old kid at a desk, and this is the big bad Deputy Fields, who feels like he can essay women and blackmail them. Disgusting, right? Okay, here we go.
The 16-year-old high school student violently thrown to the ground by school resource officer Ben Fields claims she does have injuries to her arm and face.
That was a female student. A female student. This is the guy who was essaying women in the judge's chambers. This is a female student. He's manhandling like this, sitting at her desk. Oh, hell no.
The 16-year-old high school student violently thrown to the ground by school resource officer Ben Fields claims she does have injuries to her arm and face, at least according to her attorney. The FBI now investigating.
She may have had a rug burn or something like that, but she was not injured.
In the incident report,
a rug burn? A rug burn?
South Carolina sheriff's deputy said he used muscling techniques after she refused his request to get up. Then, according to the report, she hit him in the chest with a closed fist.
I don't want anybody to think that just the fact that she did strike the officer, that's justifications for some of the actions that he took.
We've heard about his reputation. We've heard that he's a really, I guess I can say, dangerous man.
The second student.
Oh my God. Wow. They should have listened to these kids 8 years ago.
Phone to the math teacher. And that's when Fields was called in to remove her. Kenny says she was crying, screaming at the officer. Fields then arresting her for disturbing school.
He said, you got something you want to say? You got something you want to say? You want some of this too? And I was just like, no. And I just put my...
You want some of this too? He says to a freaking child in school? Lindsay, I don't know. I mean, that's just what I was sent.
Hands behind my back.
In 2007, Army veteran Carlos Martin filed a lawsuit against Officer Fields, claiming that he used excessive force when questioning him and his wife about a noise complaint. The jury ruled in Fields' favor in 2010. But Martin claims race was a factor in his arrest.
When I saw the video, it just reminds me of all the nightmares and what I've been going through for 10 years.
A student in the classroom who posted this video wrote that Fields is, quote, a cool dude and not racist.
Black people are attacked.
Still, many parents of the Richland 2 school district are outraged, as are school officials.
This individual, we've made it clear that we do not want him back on.
I don't know if it's for certain the same Ben Field. Oh, look. He was a Richland County Deputy Ben Fields. Let's see. I don't know. They settled. Let's see. They made them do more training. Let's see. I want to see if he was like. I mean, I don't know what this guy looks like. Yeah, I don't know if it's the same dude. He was appointed in 2019 against Stines from a former female deputy, claiming she was fired for supporting the opposing candidate. Yeah, I'm thinking this Stines isn't like such a clean dude. Like his hands aren't clean. Letcher County Deputy Fields. I don't know what he looks like, but I'll look it up. Deputy Fields, Letcher County, Kentucky. Oops. This is him right here. Blit. He was charged with grape and sodomy. Well, where's his picture? You can only see it on that page or what? But this is him. I don't know if it would be the same guy, y'all. I don't think it is. I mean, maybe. He's not exactly in shape if it is. I mean, it's been 8 years, but I'm not ready to say that's for sure him. Yeah, I don't know if they even did anything. Yeah, I don't know. Fields is kind of, I don't know if that would be him. I don't think so. He's. Oh my God, you guys. I just came to chat and I'm reading your comments. You're like.
You're what the French call les incompetents.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same dude. Yeah, so this dude here, though. We're going to read this article, okay? The jury trial began. This is October 2nd. This is a year ago. So the deputy was charged with 2 counts of grape, 2 counts of sodomy, and 3 counts of tampering with a prisoner's monitor device, and 1 count of perjury. So we know what he did. He was indicted by a grand jury in 2022. This is the part right here. 2 more women came forward with similar allegations. So there were at least 3 women. Disgusting. So yeah, that's him right here. The slovenly. But see, no, this is the South Carolina guy right here. Definitely not the same dude. A different Ben Fields. See, look, I don't think that's the same dude at all. There's no way. Oh shit. Okay. So where were we? We read the lawsuit. Oh, now we're going to watch the lawyers. That's right. Okay. So let's go here. Sorry, I'm trying to keep all of this. Oh, here's the first here's the TikTok of him and his daughter. Watch this real quick.
Has the motive finally been revealed?
Whoops. Has the motive finally been revealed?
As to why this sheriff fatally shot a judge in cold blood? Video of the shocking shooting was just played in court, Most of it is too graphic to show, but you can see the sheriff firing at the judge multiple times. Relatives of the Kentucky judge could be heard sobbing.
The cries and the wails that you heard once they saw what was happening with the judge in the corner trying to protect himself, I can't imagine what his family went through.
Now in bombshell testimony, a police officer is revealing there was a dispute between Judge Kevin Mullins and the Kentucky sheriff, Shawn Stines, involving the sheriff's teenage daughter. This lip-syncing video of the sheriff and his daughter shows them goofing around as she sits on the back of his police car. Their choice of songs, of all things, I Shot the Sheriff.
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
The police...
Like, what are the odds of that shit, right? What are the odds?
Police officer testified, I shot the sheriff.
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
The police officer testified that the sheriff's daughter's phone number was on the judge's phone.
I was told that Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
Moments later, he shot the judge.
The sheriff's teenage daughter's phone number was already in the judge's phone. And that's what he's doing in the moments before he fires his weapon. So it's clear to me and clear to everyone that the motivation behind this is connected to the sheriff's teenage daughter.
They put it at the end. Yeah, that's a TikTok video that him and his daughter did. I saw it. She wasn't blurred out in the one I saw. Let me see if I can find Sheriff Stines' TikTok daughter. The one I saw, she wasn't blurred out. They made TikToks together. Okay, so this is her. She's blonde in this thing. Yeah, that didn't age well, did it? All right, so this is court TV. Let's see. I thought maybe they had him in this. No, I guess not. But yeah, I saw that they had two like full TikToks. And I can't remember where I saw them now. Yeah, I don't know where I saw them. Did you guys hear about Garth Brooks? Now he's being accused of grape. I'm telling you. Hollywood is falling apart, Shane Culkin. It is falling apart before our eyes. So yeah, I think that's her in court as well. Let's watch the lawyers though. Hold on. Whoops. Here it is. This is interesting. Listening to the lawyers. Here we go. Let me rewind it. Rewind. Be kind and rewind. Oh, this is Hillbilly Crime. Have you guys watched her? She is a local there. This lady here. I'll put her link in the chat as well.
Hey. How are you tonight? I know that it's kind of late, and I just wanted to get on here because I saw an interview with Mickey Stein's new attorneys, and so I'm not going to stay on here and chat. I just wanted to show you guys this interview, and let me pull it up here. Okay.
This lady's got the tea.
But is it clear that, does it appear to you that, let me rephrase this. Did he stand up after
Yes.
looking at the...
He stood up.
And how long after he looked at the cell phone and stood up did this occur that you played?
Just seconds.
And there was another curious question from the defense.
Are you aware of any criminal reports that Sheriff Stines had made of Judge Mullins prior to this day?
You know her, Dustin?
Was Sheriff Stines investigating his friend for something? Stines' lawyers tell me they're looking into the possibility that Stines had filed a report about Judge Mullins.
He was mostly calm, I thought. I mean, I talked to him, but he didn't say nothing about why this had happened. But he
Did she say that the judge could have filed something against Shawn?
was calm. He was kind of afraid that basically all he said was, treat me fair. That's basically the comments he made.
Okay. Did he also make a statement about...
Was the monitor from you, Cricket Day? Cricket, thank you so much. That was so sweet. I absolutely love it, Cricket. It is amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't see it in the citation. You're somewhere along the line. Saw a statement being attributed to him about protecting his family.
I wasn't present, but when he was taken into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made the comment, they're trying to kidnap my wife and kid.
Detective Stamper said they have not gathered any information at this time that the shooting was pre-planned. The judge ruled there was probable cause to find Mickey Stines had committed the murder. Stines has retired in light of his being charged with murder. His case will now go to the grand jury. Jeremy and Carrie Bartley are actually representing Sheriff Stines. Thank you so much for coming on. First of all, how is Sheriff Stines doing? He seemed pretty stoic, except for maybe rubbing his eyes a couple of times when the tape played in court yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's doing as well as can be expected under the circumstances. I think that he is certainly taking everything in at this point, and he's doing okay. He's okay.
So many people are asking why. I mean, it's clearly on the videotape. He's pleaded not guilty in the lower court, but why? That's the big question. And you asked a number of questions under cross-examination yesterday, Jeremy, about the daughter, about her phone number being in Judge Mullins's phones. Where were you going with that line of questioning? There's been a lot of talk in that small town, but not a lot of concrete answers about what may have been the impetus for this.
Well, I mean, our investigation is still ongoing, and I would hope, given the incomplete answers we got yesterday, that law enforcement's investigation is ongoing. At this point, we don't have a complete picture, but what I think was apparent very early is that there was a sudden inflammation of emotion that transpired in the moments just before the tape came on in the clip that we saw. And so this tape was edited to cut out anything that happened just prior. And we think the moments just prior will tell the whole story. I don't know at this point what ultimately was on that phone. They're examining the phones, but we believe that based upon the statements that our client made just following arrest, as well as the indication that there was this exchange of phones or viewing of phones, that something in that moment made our client feel that there was no other choice than to do what he did.
So it almost sounds like you think he snapped. I mean, this was a reaction.
Well, yeah, and that would be textbook extreme emotional disturbance with the textbook example always of finding your significant other with someone else, and in the moment, in the older case law, they referred to it the heat of passion, and that's pretty much the same line of reasoning that extreme emotional disturbance follows.
There was discussion that he said something about protecting his wife and daughter, or he was concerned about his wife.
So they're saying it's a crime of passion, basically. A crime of passion. So Ben is a deputy who works underneath Shawn Stines, this guy here. And over his left shoulder are his wife and daughter. Shawn is the sheriff. Ben Fields is a deputy who was sexually assaulting women in the judge's chambers at night after hours.
Wife and daughter. And then you were able to elicit that under the questioning of the lead detective, that the daughter's number, and she's a minor from what I understand, her phone number was in Judge Mullins's cell phone. I don't know if that would be unusual since they had been friends for many years. Can you elaborate on that for us? What was going on with the daughter's phone number being in Judge Mullins's cell phone?
No, candidly, I believe that the officer testified that he believed that our client made a call from the judge's phone. So whether or not there was a call separate from that or whether there were any other calls, I mean, we'll have to await the cell phone records to determine. But there was obviously, if in fact it is true that what the officer said, that the daughter's number was dialed during this period of time.
Now, Stines ain't exactly some small-ass dude himself. He reminds me of my old neighbor. God, he looks just like my old neighbor.
And you take that in companion with the statement that our client felt like his wife and his daughter were in
She's
danger.
a lawyer.
Then we think
Dave.
certainly there is something there that is going to support our contention that Mr. Stines felt as though he had to act. Now, what that looks like objectively is subject to more discovery and more investigation.
Why were you asking about the apps on the phones and the different types of apps that can be used for communication? I mean, it seems to me you could draw an inference that Judge Mullins potentially may have been communicating with Sheriff Stines' wife or daughter. Do you know that to be true?
I have no objective facts that would lead us there or that would anything other than, of course, there's plenty of speculation. And so I'm just asking the questions. At this point, I'm asking the questions to try and determine, A, what the objective truth is, right? But if you look at that statute, the statute is in reference to what our client's subjective belief was at the time that he acted.
Now listen to this part.
And so you actually, everyone wants to know the objective why, but for us, we want to know the objective truth. But the important thing ultimately for the trial is what did our client believe? And so to answer your question more succinctly, I do not have any basis now to make any conclusion about the phone number or any interaction other than it appears that our client made the statement that he was concerned about the safety of his wife and daughter.
Do we know, either Carrie or Jeremy, why Sheriff Stines decided to use Judge Mullins's phone instead of his own? We know you said that he did use his phone and then use the judge's phone.
Yeah, that is another reason why the phones are going to be so important in this case. And until we have back the forensic review of the phones, all of the phones, and in fact, I think we learned that there was another phone that was seized or maybe turned over from an employee of the sheriff's that we were not aware of before we were going into the hearing yesterday. All of those phones are going to become critical, and at this point, we just don't know.
The Bartleys say they're investigating everything, including whether the civil suit involving former Deputy Fields played a role.
We have to ask the question, since the allegations involve the same chambers, the same location that this incident took place in. And, I'm still struck by.
That is the girl right there, Sabrina. I think that's either Sabrina or one of the girls passed away. She overdosed, guys. Thank you, ministry. Shane. But I think one of the girls that accused the deputy, this Ben Fields, that's Ben Fields on the left, she overdosed.
took place in. And, I'm still struck by how unusual it is
Hey,
that
Music
you
City.
have a live recording of a judge's chambers going on. Most of the time, if you have cameras in a judge's chambers, they are only on if you're having a hearing. And at that point, they're initiated by a court staff, and then they are turned off by a court staff, and they include audio. But I don't know of another judge that would have had a video camera recording him 24/7 or 9 to 5, however long he's in the.
I mean, why do they think that's so odd? Given what just happened, that this deputy was committing sexual assaults in the judge's chambers? The question is, did anybody know that there was a camera? Like, who all knew that there was a camera? Did the sheriff know there was a camera? But, I mean, why is everyone acting puzzled? Like, oh, why does he have cameras in the chambers? Well, I don't know. Maybe because a year ago it came out that there were sexual assaults being, done in his office, for Christ's sakes.
24/7 or 9 to 5, however long he's in the office. Now, we've had some information that these cameras were put up after the lawsuit and after the conviction of a deputy for some sexual crimes that he committed in the judge's chambers, these same chambers. So, again, we're asking the questions too. And so far, no one will give us the answers.
There are a lot of rumors floating around that small town, and one of them has to do with Sheriff Stines' daughter. And we know that she was interviewed by law enforcement in the presence of her mother. Do we know, is there any indication that there's some investigation going on related to that? Kentucky State Police have kind of said they are looking into kind of everything and whether or not there may have been something going on that was untoward with his daughter. Are you aware of anything?
We await the results of the investigation ourselves. I don't know anything more than we heard yesterday at the hearing in terms of what that evidence may look like. We don't know. I mean, we're not at this point. We're not making that allegation at all. We are trying to understand why our client felt that he had to protect his wife and daughter, as he told the officers that day. And, that could be one, that could be based upon one factor. It could be multiple factors. And at this point, we're trying to, we don't want to speculate. I'm not going to speculate about anything. Just because there are these salacious rumors. I'm not going to get into that or speculate about that. Because for us, the examination is, did our client believe at that time that he either acted in self-protection or that he was so emotionally overcome that he was unable to control his actions in that point? It's based upon his subjective belief. What ultimately is objectively true may be important to know, but the focus will be on what our client believed at the time he had to do.
Despite Sheriff Stines being charged with murder, the most serious offense a person can face in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the Bartleys say Stines is receiving a lot of support.
Sheriff Stines has, you would not believe the outpouring of expressions of support for Sheriff Stines. Again, ultimately, no one is going to ever say, we're never going to say that, that this is a beneficial thing or a positive thing that a man was killed. It's a tragic thing, no matter how we look at it. And just because we represent the sheriff, anytime there's a loss of life, that's tragic. But no one is supporting him from the community and saying, well, we love that this happened. But What I am amazed by are the stories of Sheriff Stines transporting juveniles and stopping at the McDonald's drive-thru to get them food and to take care of people who were, who were having difficulties in getting food and taking it to their house. I've heard from drug addicts and recovering addicts who attribute their sobriety and their success in life to Sheriff Stines' efforts. Now, that is important to us because, again, there is something, and we want to know what, and we're continuing to do our own investigation, but we, ultimately the Commonwealth has to give us the information to understand what would make this man who has served so honorably in his community to get to the point where he felt the only thing he could do to protect his wife and daughter is to take action on his own.
Well, it's certainly still very early on. Jeremy and Carrie Bartley, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
So it will be interesting to see whether this case continues as a murder case or whether it turns into some type of manslaughter case or something else. We'll have to.
So that is the latest from his lawyers. No, I haven't yet, Jillian. We haven't gotten to the Menendez brothers yet, but we will. We're going to get to the Menendez brothers. We're going to get to the Stearns divorce documents. Weird. But thank you for the email, Stacy. Let's take a look at this on X. This is clearer and longer footage of the shooting. Let's check this out. It says new footage released of Kentucky Sheriff Shawn Stines unaliving Judge Kevin Mullins after the pair had an argument in the judge's office. Okay, so let's... See, there's no audio to it. See, what the hell was going on here? He's like, calm down, calm down. Whoa. Oh my God, he turns his head. Oh God almighty. What is behind him? Is that a quilt? I'm just scrolling through it because look at, if I play it, there's no audio. Look at, oh my God, this is freaking horrible. Can we take a poll, Jay? Do you think the sheriff knew about Fields? Oh, of course he did. That was his boss. He doesn't get a free pass about that. Oh my God, this is horrific. Oh my gosh, Island Thrifties. Oh my God, where the hell have you been, girlfriend? It is so good to see you. Island Thrifties. The hell have you been? But let's slow this down and look at how this transpired, okay? So he's like, calm down. Jeez, this is awful. Can we slow it down here? Yeah, we can. Thank you, Elon. All right, let's do it at half speed and see what's going on here. How did who know what? I don't know how better to explain it. There was a lawsuit filed last year. It's a federal lawsuit. This guy's deputy was committing sexual assaults in this judge's chambers. That's all we know. He was sentenced to 7 years, 6.5 probation, a half a year in jail. That's Shawn Fields, his deputy. He no longer works there. This guy, Shawn Stines, Mickey, is the boss of Ben Fields. I don't give a damn what anyone says. He's listed in the lawsuit as his supervisor. And other women came forward, and they were not treated with, they were ignored by this guy. This guy was responsible for that deputy. There was audio from the courtroom, but there wasn't audio in the video. They have it blurred out right there at the end. Oops. I mean, we can't deny the fact that this dude was responsible for the deputy and he did nothing. You know what I mean? There's a very bad drug problem. Oh, I'm sure this is a whole mess. Good night, Island Thrifts. It was really good to see you. Thanks for checking in, hon. Right, but where does the daughter fit into this, you know? Yeah, cat's name is Karen. How you doing? No one knows. What's up, Ganja Mama? No one knows the motive. We're just speculating. Yeah, the women did come forward. Well, one of them that came forward passed away. She overdosed. I don't know, accidental, right? I mean, she overdosed and yeah. He tried to sweep it under the rug, so to speak. And he played judge, jury, and executioner. And you can't do that shit. I mean, exactly, Misty, right. It's a coal miner's quilt. Cricket, you're so full of info. Thank you again, Cricket, for my screen. I keep saying screen. I'm just so happy I don't have that little ass screen. I'm not squinting no more. So there's a story that came out right away that the daughter was interning. I've never heard that. It's disturbing. It's this man's last moments. It's freaking horrible. It's horrible. All right, guys, we are going to move forward, but we will continue to follow this. Definitely. I mean, if this goes to trial, we are all over this. So here's some still shots that someone posted. Ugh, and I hate to say it, but Mickey ain't going to be chasing nobody down either. Just saying. Mickey ain't going to be catching nobody. All right, let's move on. We are going to move on to the Menendez brothers. This is a case I have followed since it happened. And we have the Netflix thing that came out. Well, there's another one tomorrow night. So we're going to play that. It's going to be played in our Discord. If you would like to join.
Psychopathy.
We get a little psycho in there, but yeah, we have watch parties. We're going to watch the new Menendez brothers tomorrow night. I think we'll do 8 p.m. in the Clicker Lounge on Discord. But these guys, I'm sure everybody knows the background to the Menendez story. Put a 1 in chat if you don't know the Menendez story by now. Or if you want me to give a little brief synopsis. But I'm looking forward to watching the new Netflix. Stines was also told that the judge was going to tell about the cops doing things. I'm sure there's a lot more. One last thing. Stines had a deposition regarding the lawsuit the Monday of that week. Yes, that's right. Thank you for pointing that out, Lindsay. Thank you. You've been very helpful. Are you saying he's overprotective? I know, poor Lyle. This is a case I could discuss until the cows come home. Shane, you got it, brother. You got it, brother. This is a press conference from the Los Angeles DA. And this came out yesterday. And I was like, oh my God, this is really happening. So for the past year, they have been reinvestigating the case. Let's listen to a little more from the DA about Lyle and Eric Menendez. The audio sucks, so I'll try to put the captions on so that we can hear it.
We know that this is an area of tremendous interest nationally. We know especially since the Netflix documentary came out, we're getting a lot of calls. Let me begin by saying, kind of walk you through a simple explanation of the legal issues here. There are two vehicles upon which people that have been convicted of a crime, well, there are many, but the two are a habeas and the other one's a resentencing. They can ask for a review of their conviction.
Sir, I'm sorry, just the thumping on the...
Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. Thank you. Yeah. Under a habeas, in this case, we've gotten petitions for the brothers on both. Under a habeas, basically what someone that was convicted is asking a review of new evidence that had been made available. That had that evidence been available to the court and the jury at the time of the trial, perhaps the outcome may have been different.
New evidence.
And then there's a second process, and it's called resentencing under California law, where a prosecutor can evaluate whether someone has been rehabilitated, and based on their actions and the fact that they're not involved in criminal activity inside of the prison, that their sentence could be reevaluated. In this case, again, the Menendez brothers are asking for a review through both of those vehicles. We have not decided on the outcome. We are reviewing the information, but I think it's also important that we recognize that both men and women can be the victims of sexual assault. We started a consent campaign to be timed with the red zone, and for those of you who are not familiar with the red zone, is when new kids are going into college, and for the first time they're away from home, and we know that there's an increase in sexual assaults during that period of time. Now, most of the victims are usually young women, but there are men also that are victimized. And in our consent campaign, we made it very clear that only a clear and desirable yes means yes, and anything else is not consent. And I spoke very clearly, especially to young men, because most of the time are young women that are the victims of sexual assault.
No, I like that I don't know who this guy is, but I like that he's addressing that sexual assault is not always women. Back, if you ever watched the Menendez trial, I implore you, at least watch the boys' testimonies. It's absolutely heartbreaking. The cousins knew. The aunt knew. It was a different time, and I love that this man is acknowledging that we don't think like that anymore.
That they also have an obligation to understand that consent has to be very clear. But we also recognize that sometimes men and boys are the victims of sexual assault. We're seeing now the allegations that in the case of Shawn Combs, according to the civil lawyers, about a half of the victims, and they could be way over 100, were men. And we have seen over and over again when both young boys and young girls are molested.
Yes, we have to talk
So
about this.
Today,
I love
what
this.
I want to make very clear We have not conceded one way or the other. We're not saying that there was anything wrong with the original trial. We have been given evidence. We have been given a photocopy of a letter that allegedly was sent by one of the brothers to another family member talking about him being the victim of molestation. We've also got evidence that was provided by the defense, by his lawyers, that one of the members of the Menudo band alleged that he was molested by the father.
Yes. Let's talk about Menudo. Oh, I could go on and on about Jose Menendez. Jose Menendez molested the Menudo band, the little boy band. He was the executive of Sony Music. Let that sink in. Think about that. Shawn Diddy Combs, Jose Menendez, was the executive of Sony Records. Let that sink in.
None of this information has been confirmed. We are not, at this point, ready to say that we either believe or do not believe that information. But we're here to tell you that we have a moral and an ethical obligation to review what is being presented to us and make a determination based on a resentencing side, whether they deserve to be resentenced, even though they were clearly the murderers, because they have been in prison for 35 years and they have paid back their dues to society,
years.
Or whether habeas is appropriate if there was evidence that was not presented to the court at that time, and had that evidence been presented, perhaps a jury would have come to a different conclusion. I don't think there is any question in this case that the boys, or the men, young men, one was 19, the other one was 21 at the time, that they murdered their parents.
Right.
I think that's factual, it's been established. I think the questions that are presented to us is two simple questions. One possibility, what is being alleged by his lawyers, not by us, that there was evidence that had that evidence been presented to the jury, the outcome of this case would have been different. And second, under California law, a path to resentencing where a prosecutor can evaluate whether someone has been rehabilitated, and if so, ask the court to determine whether the person should be resentenced. If they get resentenced, there are multiple things that could happen. They could walk out based on what the court decides, or they can have the sentence given a different shape, and perhaps they will stay on, but for a longer period, lesser period of time, or they can have a new trial. Right, and those are all options, and we will evaluate all of it. We have a hearing coming up on November 29th, and until we get there, we're not sure yet which direction this will go. Are there any questions? Oh, by the way, one of the things that I want to add too, because I think it's important that you contextualize what resentencing means. Since I've been in office, we have resentenced over 300 people. Of those, only 4 have reoffended, which is probably one of the lowest recidivism rate of any group that I'm aware of. If you do the math, and I'm here standing because if I was better at math, I would be teaching math or doing something else. It's a very low rate. In fact, if our recidivism rate for all the crimes that we face were to be that low, we would be the safest society in the world, and we're not. So just so you understand also, this concept of resentencing is a concept that we have used successfully many times and will continue to do where is appropriate. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Other than the November 29th.
Excuse me, I got a question. I'll get to all of you guys. Yes.
Given the cultural shift in how we view sexual assault, do you think that this case would have been handled differently if it was tried today?
Look, because I don't know yet the validity of all the evidence that was presented as opposed to the evidence that was not presented, I'm not here to make judgment on that, but there is no question that today would have been a greater level of sensitivity to the way the case was looked at.
Absolutely.
You've had this evidence for over a year now.
So did you hear what he said? If this happened now, this case would have been looked at differently. Absolutely it would have. And they've had the evidence, this new evidence, for a year now. And November 29th, we'll find out. He's got people in his office, he says, investigating that feel both ways, that the guys shouldn't be released and that they should. And those people are going to present their evidence to him, and he's going to ultimately make a decision, I guess.
Why speak out today and now?
Well, there's a combination. It takes a long time, right? We get a lot of petitions for resentencing. We get a lot of petitions to evaluate cases for habeas. We investigate this very, very carefully. Often we go back, and not only do we go through all the original investigation, but we go through trial transcripts. We may, obviously, in the case of habeas, we may be looking at additional evidence. So this is not a thing that we take lightly. The fact that we have resentenced, for instance, 300 people and only 4 have reoffended so far is because of the work is so thorough. Yes, sir.
Other than the November 29th hearing, what's kind of the time frame or the timeline? Do you expect to make a decision after that hearing? And are you leaning towards one way or the other as far as having this resentencing?
Yeah, I'm not leaning in any direction right now. I'm keeping an open mind. We have people in the office that are looking at this very carefully, very experienced lawyers that are looking at this. That evidence will be presented to me. Their recommendation will be presented to me, but the final decision will be mine. Yes, sir.
The habeas petition was filed last year, and your office has been putting 90-day extensions for the hearing. Do you expect that there might be another extension, or is that November 29th hearing, is there going to be a
Yeah, my intent is to be able to put finality to this, but I cannot tell you with any certainty because I still don't know how much work may need to be done. That's still pending.
Yep, Jillian,
Yes,
you're right. They were tried twice.
Look, I mean, there are differences of opinion. There are differences of opinion within the office, and that is a healthy part of the process, right? You don't want to have everybody agreeing to any one thing. And then one of the things that I personally do well is by listening to different opinions and different ways of looking at evidence or looking at a particular case or the law. So there are people in the office that would tell you that this case should never be neither resentenced nor a habeas should be granted. There are other people in the office that believe that this should be evaluated carefully and that there may be a process there on a path. I will make the final decision based on all those conversations.
I mean, that said, though, the family has also said that they should be free. Does that?
That's correct. The family, my understanding is that the family, by and large, would like them to be released. Yes, ma'am.
Has the increased focus on this case from the public affected your decision to re-examine this case?
Well, look, you know, when I was elected 4 years ago, I came on a very clear platform of looking at our work through a lens of a modern approach to criminal justice. And part of that is not getting simply locked up in what we did in the past, right? So there's no question that I may be more open to review things that other prosecutors may not.
See, I like this guy.
And that was the reason why I was elected. But I have to tell you, again, this is a careful, deliberate process. I will evaluate both the evidence that is presented by those that believe that no relief should be granted, and I will evaluate the evidence of those that believe that relief should be granted, and then I'll make a decision.
Do you believe Rob Rosella from Menudo that he was molested by the Menendez brothers' father?
Here we go.
I'm not in a place to tell you that I either believe him or disbelieve him. Yes, sir.
Is the family, as far as you understand, pretty united in wanting to see them walk out? Or are you hearing from other people close to the family or friends or other family members who want them to stay?
You know what? I don't know the answer to that. I know that certainly there are family members that believe that they should be released, but there may be other family members that disagree. Again, that would not be uncommon. Yes, sir.
Is there any kind of open case regarding the Rosello allegations in the DA's office? Is there an investigation or an open case?
Not that I'm aware at this moment.
Has the DA's office interviewed the Menendezes since this?
You know what? This is an ongoing investigation. We're working through their lawyers, and we'll continue to work through their lawyers. They're both represented. Okay, thank you, everyone. Sí, como que no. Claro.
Okay. So you guys, I'm shocked at the poll. You guys, 67% of you have seen the testimony, 32% have not. So what I would like to do is go a little deeper. It's Friday night, why not? And show you guys a little footage from the trial. I could talk about this case night after night. I mean, I really feel very strongly about children and their claims being taken seriously. And I do agree with the DA that right now this would have been handled so much differently. And, you know, they did go out and spend money and they were called brats and they were, you know, accused of it being all about the money. But you have to understand, these guys were the sons. Picture P. Diddy's kids. Okay. Picture P. Diddy's kids. Their dad was a record exec for Sony, right? And if this happened right now, not saying they shouldn't do time, but they've been in jail for 35 years. We had a cousin also come out and say, I think this is him right here. Listen to this. This is their cousin. Yeah. This father had them showering and all kind of weird shit. Listen to this. Yeah, this is a guy who was an alleged child molester. I know, Connie, it's shocking. These guys have a story and they won't get a new trial. They'll just get released, I think. I don't think it's up for a new trial. I'm thinking it's relief, meaning you've done your time. And thank you, Mia, for being a member for 9 months. You could have had a whole ass human, and 67% of us is old farts. So they didn't even talk to each other about all this. Okay, we're going to fast forward a little bit here. You guys really need to watch a lot of stuff on this. There's so much. The mom was an alcoholic, so she drank it all away. And it was horrible how they were treated. Okay, here we go. Here's another family member. I never know when it's going to happen, and it's driving me crazy. Every night I stay up thinking he might come in. I need to put it out of my mind. I know what you said before, but I'm afraid.
Once they're old enough to know what a real sexual experience is, then it kind of hits them like this.
What if Maddie would have unalived Jen and Stephan, asking for a friend? Would you all want Madeline? I mean, let's say she grew up and did that. Would you all want her in prison for life? Or would you have some kind of, you know, sympathy for her situation? Knowing what Madeline went through, if she grew up and unalived those two. Try to think about that. What would you feel about that?
Isn't really right. Or maybe they don't know.
They didn't need money. They were millionaires, right? They didn't need money. To say they did it for money is ridiculous. Those kids had everything and then some. Going to Princeton. They had the best of the best. I mean, they were multimillionaires. You guys say, hell no, you wouldn't want him to go to jail. Want her to go to jail.
No, until later.
No, but they were made fun of. Can you imagine people making fun of Madeline Soto? Think about it.
They talk to their closest friend like, well, your dad doesn't do this to you, or your...
But wait a minute. A lot of people were actually saying if Sheriff Stines' daughter was being essayed, that it would be okay, that he took matters into his own hand. What have we learned about narratives, especially with the Sebastian Rogers case? Hey, Lisa Rose, thank you for being a clicker for 14 months. I appreciate you. Wow. That's a long time. Over a year now. But think about narratives and how they're put out early on, right? If Jose Menendez was outed as a molester, it's just easy for them to just go to the police. Tell that to Diddy's victims. Tell Diddy's victims, oh, they should have just went to the police. That is redonkulous. It's redonkulous. This is absolutely horrific to me. But what I think the catalyst was, SS, is that, no, they hadn't shared the information. However, Eric, the younger one. Okay, so Lyle was away at Princeton. He came home. Eric was planning on going away to school. Right before the murders, Jose told Eric, you're not fucking going to school. You're going to live here under my roof, and you're going to go to school and live at home. And then Eric started getting suicidal because he didn't see a way out. And honestly, I think that was the catalyst. I think Eric went to Lyle and said, it hasn't stopped. And that was when they put their stories together. Can you imagine them putting their stories of all these years together? It's freaking god awful. These guys were made fun of. They were called gay. They were called rich, spoiled brats. I mean, who was going to believe them? Who was going to have their back over their father, the record exec? Nobody. No fucking buddy. Do you think that his emotions are fake? His veins are popping out of his forehead. This is not fake, in my opinion. This is not fake. These boys were kept silent with dad's money. And yeah, they went out and spent it after they offed him because it was probably the only way they knew. It was a big fuck you. This is real emotion, in my opinion. I mean, who actually thinks that this 25-year-old man who has been the cat's ass rich boy would ever want to say this in front of the nation? I mean, to plan it and say, oh, we're going to get on the stand and we're going to say our dad raped us and we're going to talk about how he put his penis in our mouths when we were little kids. I mean, for us to still have, this wasn't just like a couple hours of testimony. He testified about the SA for days. And then the jury couldn't come to a conclusion. So in the second trial, they weren't allowed to talk about the SA. Because you heard the investigator, oh boy, we got some problems here. Right? People are sympathizing with these boys. How dare they? We're going to watch the Menendez Netflix tomorrow night in Discord. You guys would like to join, all you have to do is be a member of the channel here or Everyday with Jay, or be a Patreon member, and you have entrance into the lounge. So we are not done yet, guys. We are on a roll tonight. Here is the Menendez brothers.
We have been following breaking news about the 1996 conviction of...
Hold on. It was a whoopsie. Whoopsie daisies.
We have been...
Okay, so this is going to be Mark Garagos. A lot of you guys know the famous, infamous attorney. Oh yeah, Jose had a lot of power and a lot of money. But the infamous Mark Garagos is their lawyer. And this is from yesterday. He speaks after the DA announces the review of that new evidence.
Following breaking news about the 1996 conviction of the Menendez brothers, LA County District Attorney George Gascon is reviewing new evidence of the case.
Let's get to that press conference being held right now by Mark Garagos, who represents the Menendez brothers.
Of the family on both sides. The reaction today by the DA is what I've been saying for the last basically year and a half. A year and a half ago, we filed a writ of habeas corpus. We presented two pieces of evidence. The one was a letter from Eric to Andy Cano, which predates the killings by 8 months. The other was a declaration.
Okay, by 8 months. The letter was 8 months prior to the murders.
By Roy Rosello, who is another victim of Jose.
Okay, the other piece of evidence includes Menudo. So Menudo has everything to do with this. The first piece of evidence was the letter to the cousin. The second piece of evidence is the fact that Roy Rossello says that Jose Menendez sexually abused him.
The combination of those two, we believe, provide more than ample basis to set aside the result of the second trial. For anybody who's been following this, you'll remember that the first trial ended with there were two juries. Out of those two juries, both of them voted more than half for not guilty on murder and were hung. By the time the second trial came along, it was on the heels 8 days, frankly. Evidence started 8 days after the acquittal of O.J. Simpson.
Exactly.
The rulings changed,
Bing bong.
even though it was the same judge. The prosecution changed, and frankly, they were deprived of what I consider to be a meritorious defense. They have now served 35 years. In that 35 years that they have served in prison, they've been model prisoners. They have worked tirelessly in the face of literally no ability or expectation that they would ever get out to reform not only themselves but the environment they find themselves. There has been a sea change in California. When they were convicted, California was in the throes of a prison expansion, a law and order expansion, and frankly, DA politics. And now we fast forward 35 years later, we've got a much more robust and evolved understanding of abuse, that yes, abuse can occur both with females and with males.
Exactly. And that was what was the problem back then. These guys were literally called gay and faggots and stuff. It was awful. It was awful. Can you imagine that happening today? God.
I think it's time. Their family thinks it's time. I believe that what you saw today with
They have been in jail so long that mullets came back around. Look at Lyle's mullet. They have been in prison for 35 years. So far that mullets came back.
It's time. I believe that what you saw today with District Attorney Gascon was that he has taken, I think, a rather bold step in that he has said he's going to make the final decision. It's it may not be a popular decision in prosecutorial circles, but I would think that in our culture, we've come a long way in the last 10 years.
Yes.
Maybe 15 years. I think we're at a point now where any reasonable person taking a look at this case believes they should be out. And based upon that, I'm gratified. I'm hoping that sometime before Thanksgiving, which is when the next the response is due, that the DA will either concede the habeas or join in us in asking for a resentencing. And I'll take a couple of questions and then I'll turn it over to Brian Friedman.
By the way, this was also Scott Peterson's lawyer.
And he's not here, but Cliff Gardner, who is my co-counsel, deserves a lot of credit, because anybody who's followed this case knows he was the lawyer that argued this case in front of the Ninth Circuit. In fact, if you watch or listen to the Ninth Circuit argument, none other than one of the appellate justices back then said rather astutely that they certainly look like they changed the rules of the game between trial number one and trial number two.
Protect his wife and daughter.
Yes, they were called all kinds of names, and the whole trial was based around their damn sweaters and what sweaters they were going to wear. But we're going to take a trip back with Fox 5 New York. This is called the Menendez murders. That was the news then. I want to take you guys back in time and give you perspective. I think it's important to look back on, you know, what we think now, how we view things now. I think it's completely interesting to see how we've evolved. And this is just in our lifetime, guys. You know, smoke them if you got them. We're going back to 1989.
1989, Jose and Kitty Menendez were brutally murdered by their two sons, Lyle and Eric. The two brothers are currently serving life sentences in prison.
Well, today a new Netflix show by Ryan Murphy is bringing the infamous murder back into the spotlight.
And this is what some of the actual news coverage looked like back then.
In 1990, the two brothers.
In Los Angeles, a judge has declared a mistrial in the case against Eric Menendez. Ann McDermott has the details.
On August 20th, 1989, Lyle Menendez placed a frantic call to 911.
What's the problem? I'm trying to kill my parents.
The somebody who killed his parents turned out to be Lyle and his brother Eric. During their trial, the brothers admitted they shot and killed film company executive Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty in the den of their $4 million Beverly Hills home because, they said, of a dark family secret. According to the brothers, their father sexually abused them and their mother did nothing to stop him. Lyle told a chilling tale of Jose forcing him to have oral and anal sex.
I just told him that I didn't want to do this and that it hurt me.
According to the brothers, they ultimately rebelled and threatened to tell outsiders about the alleged abuse. Lyle Menendez said his parents then responded by threatening the sons.
I don't have any doubts that my father and mother would have killed us.
So they killed instead.
I just walked into the room, I just started firing, and I don't know. I didn't think about these things. I didn't think, where was this, where was that? I just started firing, and I don't know.
And Jose and Kitty Menendez were dead.
I just started crying a lot harder. At one point I started to scream. It was awful, and I couldn't handle what I was seeing.
Prosecutors have said the brothers should have gone to the police about the molestation allegations, and the prosecutors also said the only reasons the brothers killed their parents were because they hated them and they wanted to get their hands on their parents' money. The prosecutors asked Lyle and Eric Menendez about a spending spree within days of their parents' death, a spree during which the brothers purchased Rolex watches, even a Porsche sports car.
So you just went in and you just charged them?
Right.
The same way you just went in and shot your parents? You weren't thinking?
No, that's very different.
Prosecutors also pointed out that the brothers told a psychologist about the murders, but never told the psychologist anything about any molestation allegations. Defense attorneys contend the brothers were too ashamed to talk about it then. Leslie Abramson, who represents Eric, kept returning to the subject of Jose Menendez's alleged sexual abuse. The prosecutors say this is really a simple case.
These people were cold-bloodedly slaughtered by their two sons.
Ann McDermott, Los Angeles.
The current Netflix drama was not the first to tell the story of Lyle and Eric. Back in 1994, here's what happened when the real Menendez jury watched the 90s movie about the shocking murders.
You just watched Honor Thy Father and Mother, a docudrama on the Menendez trial, but the real drama was behind the scenes during the deliberations. Ron Reagan Jr. watched the movie with the real Menendez jury.
It must have seemed strange, watching a television dramatization of a case they'd already lived through. Watching actors who they said looked remarkably like their real-life counterparts. Susan Blakely as Leslie Abramson, David Barone as Eric, and Billy Warlock as Lyle Menendez. It all seemed unpleasantly familiar, reminding them of the 6 months they had spent in a Van Nuys, California courtroom, watching and listening as lawyers argued the case of Lyle and Eric Menendez, brothers on trial for the 1989 shotgun slaying of their parents. After weeks of deliberation, 2 juries returned deadlocked. And tonight, nothing's changed.
I heard from the back row that this movie would convict them. That's what I heard from the back row.
Not from me.
They quickly made the transition from television fiction to the painful reality they experienced.
What's interesting here is you all see the same movie, and I think you have perhaps a different perception of the movie, which mirrors what happened in the courtroom.
When you don't have evidence that states
something has occurred, I just don't know how people believe that it occurred.
When you want to believe something bad enough, you'll believe it. The evidence is absolutely overwhelming that, I mean, what it was premeditated, cold-blooded, malicious, thought-out murder.
Oh, damn.
But the women stand behind it. But I think the women felt sorry for him. I think it almost became like a love fest.
Oh.
After listening to them argue, their inability to reach
A love fest. They're like, and the women are like, oh, please.
Women felt sorry for him. I think it almost became like a love fest. Almost.
After listening to them argue, their inability to reach a verdict at the trial seemed less astonishing than inevitable. They've paid for their lack of consensus. They've found friends unwilling to understand their ordeal, and strangers likely to see them as fools. They see themselves as misunderstood.
I'm just not the same person that I used to be.
2 years after their first trial, Lyle and Eric were retried, and this time the outcome was much different for the two.
Found guilty of murdering their parents. Ann McDermott reports.
For Lyle Menendez, accused of killing his mother and father, the verdict was guilty. Guilty of murder in the first degree for the deaths of both Jose and Kitty Menendez. And his brother Eric received the same guilty verdicts. Both were also found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, and both also were found guilty of murder with special circumstances. Circumstances that in this case included lying in wait for their parents, circumstances that make the brothers eligible for the death penalty. No television cameras were allowed inside to record their reactions, but one courtroom observer, author Dominic Dunn.
So the first trial was televised. The second one, they took the essay defense out off the table, and there was no cameras. You hear me? Talk about some fucking corruption. I mean, make that make sense.
Dunn told reporters later what he saw.
There was absolute silence throughout. Eric and Lyle did not react in any way. I saw no tears from them. They did not look at each other.
Monday, the penalty phase of the case will begin. That's when the Menendez lawyers will argue for life imprisonment, and the prosecution will argue for death. Meanwhile, the lawyers and other principals in the case will have to keep their thoughts to themselves, at least for now.
It is hereby ordered that the defendants and all attorneys of record in this case and or the agents for such attorneys make no public comment about this case until the penalty phase has been concluded and the jury discharged.
The lawyers for the Menendez brothers had argued that the brothers shot and killed Jose and Kitty Menendez because they feared their parents would kill them, a fear that the young men claimed was a result of years of abuse at their parents' hands. During their first trials, which ended more than 2 years ago, jurors could not make up their minds. This time, it was different. This time, it was guilty. And for District Attorney Gil Garcetti, those verdicts were a welcome respite from a string of high-profile losses suffered by his office in recent years, including the trials of rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg, O.J. Simpson, and the including the trial.
Look at Snoop Dogg. I forgot about Snoop Dogg's trial.
For Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Oh my God. I feel really old.
O.J. Simpson and the first Menendez trials. And McDermott, Los Angeles.
All right, that is that. So tomorrow night, guys, we're going to watch this Netflix in the Discord. I'm curious what I think we covered all of the Menendez. Yeah, we did. Okay, our last topic is Stern's family. Parents. This is some mind-blowing shit, man. Or wait, I got a video I've got to send to myself to go along with these documents. So 68% of you think that they should be released. I know, murder was the case that they gave me. Damn, I wonder if that was televised. Probably not. Oh, we've got a Snoop Dogg for you. Okay, let me pull this out. Pull this up, I mean. You binged it on Netflix? Yeah, there's a different one coming out. Watch, I'll show you guys. I can't believe this whole Menudo thing. This could open up a whole can of worms with Jose Menendez and Menudo. So there's a new one October 5th, I thought. Oh, 7th. Shit. Sorry, the 7th. Here's a trailer.
Everyone asks why.
Okay, so not tomorrow. 5th, 6th, 7th. Monday night. Monday night.
We kill their parents. Maybe now people can understand the truth. My name is Eric Menendez. My name is Lyle Menendez, calling you from Donovan Correctional Facility. Lyle was the only person that had ever protected me. What happened that night is very well known, but so much hasn't been told.
If anyone had written this for a script in Hollywood, the Hollywood people would have gone, no way.
The Menendez case is one of the most infamous criminal trials in America. The brothers accused of the murder of their wealthy parents in Beverly Hills.
It was like an incredible soap opera.
Jose was a successful businessman. Kitty was the caring mother. 2 boys, emblematic of wealth and privilege. Why would you kill your parents?
As the prosecutor, I knew it was plain old greed.
It was a media spectacle from the beginning. So we were not the ones who told the story of our life. We looked like the perfect family, but behind the walls, something very wrong was happening.
What did he do to you? Now there's the TikTok movement to free the Menendez.
There's a new generation that supports the brothers.
People are looking at the case with fresh eyes.
2 kids don't commit this crime for money. And there's people that believe I shouldn't spend the rest of my life in prison. That judge was determined he was going to get a conviction.
These kids went through some horrible things. I'm telling you now, it's all fake.
We're the
And if you don't
kids
know
in
it's fake,
America.
that pisses me off.
Whoa.
There is no evidence saying they're not guilty.
We would much rather lose the murder trial than talk about the 6 secrets of the family.
Okay, so Monday. We'll watch it on Monday. What is this? You're not going anywhere. Where do you think you're going? You'll never work a day in your life. You don't know how to do anything. You can't survive. Don't want to be here anymore. Don't care. I just want to be. This is like a drawing of. I can't wait to watch this. So Monday night, you guys. It's a date. It's a date. The rabbit hole goes very deep. All of this stuff that's being exposed. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Was the Menudo thing. So watch this. Jose Menendez. Menudo. Molestation. Watch. Look at this. The dark connection between Jose Menendez and Menudo. An obsession with Ricky Martin. The brothers Menendez case is closely connected with the Latino boom in music, which started with Grupo Menudo. There's a young Ricky Martin. According to the documentary, Jose Menendez, a senior executive at it was RCA. Sorry, not Sony. I was wrong. It wasn't Sony. With RCA Records, had a close relationship with Menudo, as his company signed the band. However, what the documentary reveals goes beyond a professional relationship. Roy Rossello, a former member of Menudo, stated that Jose Menendez sexually abused him when he was 14 years old. According to Rossello, this abuse took place at the Menendez family's home in New Jersey. Among the most shocking claims is Jose Menendez's alleged obsession with the band Menudo, particularly with Ricky Martin, who was also a member of the group. I know, Adrian, I might need... Oh my God, look at that eyeball. Ugh. Although the documentary does not delve into the exact details of this alleged obsession, several interviewees mentioned that Menendez was overly interested in the band, raising questions about his relationship with the young members, right? Sony, RCA, tomato, tomato. In a clip from the documentary, a person close to Menudo states, Jose Menendez was obsessed with Menudo, which adds an even more disturbing layer to the abuse accusations. The documentary not only sheds light on the... Why is there a pregnancy test? The documentary not only sheds light on these new details about Menudo, but also strengthens the Menendez brothers' claims of abuse by their father. In an interview, Eric Menendez expressed his sadness upon learning that another person, like Roy Rossello, was also a victim of his father. I always knew my father was an abuser, but I never wanted this truth to come out in such a painful way for someone else. Damn, Pine, thank you for gifting a membership to the Clicker Crew. Lucid, you'll have to join us in Discord and make sure you give a shout out to Pine for that. He said, I always knew my father was an abuser, but I never wanted this truth to come out in such a painful way for someone else. Was Ricky Martin abused?
Big bombshell from former Menudo member Roy Rossello. He says that Jose Menendez drugged and sexually assaulted him before he was brutally killed alongside his wife by his sons, their sons, Lyle and Eric. I worked on this story a lot at the Daily News. It was a national story, probably international in some aspects. I went to the trial out in L.A., not a long time, but a few times. Met Robert Rand, who's an author who wrote a great book about the Menendez brothers. One of his books, I think, was turned into a...
Yes, Robert Rand has a really good book on this. I forgot about that book. I'm like obsessed with this case. I'm so glad it's coming to light again.
A TV series or show that... I think it was a series. And nice guy, knows an awful lot about this stuff. And he's the person who told me, and he's not lying. He said, Ricky Martin was on tape explaining that Jose Menendez sexually assaulted him. And I think at the time his manager was Benny Medina, who's a very powerful, popular, J-Lo's manager. Benny's had a lot of people. Oh, he's gay himself. And he did not want that information that Ricky so bravely gave to it was to Robert Rand. And at the end of the day, all the stuff he had that...
Did you just hear J-Lo mentioned? I mean, you guys, this shit runs deep. Thank you again, Pine.
Really would have been such a bombshell. It went nowhere. It just went nowhere. Now, what they're not saying about this incident is how exactly Roy claims to have known Jose during the time of this incident. But, you know, it's not outside the realm of possibility. If the guy was a sex nut and a pedophile, the way he treated his kids, if you are to believe their testimony in which they cried. I mean, I was there when they cried. I mean, I saw veins in their forehead pop out when they were explaining what happened to them.
Oh, my God. Didn't I say the same thing? Oh, my God.
God almighty.
I did. I said those veins are sticking out in his forehead. That is pure, raw emotion.
Crystal clear.
And this murder was one of the first podcasts I did way back, almost 6 years ago. The show was very different back then. And I was such a neophyte at it. It probably sounds ridiculous today. I wish I could take back the first 40, 50 shows I did and redo them, but it is what it is. You know, it's a new field and you got to feel it out. But, you know, when you see two brothers on the stand with such agony on their faces, I don't think you can coach that. I don't think you can instill that in somebody who doesn't have great acting ability. And the Menendez brothers did not. And I believe what they said about their dad, you know. And you gotta remember, Lyle Menendez worked as an executive in the music business during the 80s and 90s. He was very tight with the Latin community. And look, the fact that he was the way it's alleged he was is the biggest open secret in the music industry. Everybody's talked about this, mentioned it, brought it up, then it dies down.
Yes.
Well, May 2nd, we'll get to be able to stream Rossello's story from Peacock, but from the trailers and promos that were released this week, there's no doubt that this guy is leveling a very serious allegation that seems to more or less jive with what Lyle and Eric also claimed about their dad in the 90s, that he would sexually abuse them for years during their childhood. I mean, the linchpin of their defense, really what it boiled down to was telling the jury that they lived in fear from the abuse. And they only killed their parents after claiming their dad threatened them when they said they would expose what he'd done. And the mother was like, just a shithead. Didn't want to know, didn't want to hear.
Yep, in denial.
Put her head in the ground when the kids would complain.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time where one of the brothers had white shorts. I think it was Eric. I forget which brother. One of them had white shorts on. His father had allegedly done something to his anus. And there was a red spot.
Oh, my God.
And the mother didn't want to know about it. What mother doesn't want to know about a red blood spot on your kid's ass?
Truth.
Fucking people are unbelievable. So I believe this story wholeheartedly because I remember what those kids said, that the father would take them into the bathroom and tell them there's nothing wrong with being with another man or your father, because this is what Greek soldiers did before war. They got together and men were with men and women with women. It's totally natural. He just drilled this into their head, not to mention what he drilled into their butts, because I remember hearing stories about him putting electric toothbrushes, anything he could find, he put inside.
Yes,
like a real piece of shit.
That's right.
So
he did. They test. Welcome, guys. I just gifted 5 memberships. Oh, Michaela, Vicky, OG Fish, Passion Flower, and Aristocat. Welcome to the clickers. Right, Judy Garland. I mean, it's nasty. They take advantage of these kids. Welcome, guys. Make sure you join our members or our Discord. Nancy Grace welcomes you. If you would like to become a member, all you have to do is put !member, or you can scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen.
I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man. Click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Yes, they are in for life.
For this story coming out, and no one really has ever publicly backed this story that Jose might have sexually abused minors. Everybody's thought about it in Hollywood. Some have the goods, like Robert Rand. But the question is, will it have any impact on the Menendez brothers' case? Because their lawyers have been trying for years to secure a new trial. They've had a few unsuccessful appeals, but I'm telling you right now, I got a hunch, and I'm good with hunches. I got a hunch this news will have them getting that appeal and, dare I say, released from prison.
What do you guys think? I think he summed it up great. Completely agree. And he was in the courtroom. That's a guy that was in the courtroom. Oh, I know. Marilyn Monroe. I'm telling you. Thank you, Gypsy. Thank you, Gyps, for being the one that's been guiding people in Discord. You can go in the help desk and Gypsy will help you out if you have any problems. You should be able to see the help desk regardless. So let's move into Stern's divorce. Stephan Stearns, Mr. Stearns, Madeline Soto case. I've got a video that I want to go along with this. I don't know if it's exactly going to be in order. It's not edited very good. I just screen recorded it and threw it together so that we could go through their past. And I know if the Stearns are watching, they're just going to love this breakdown. But I didn't even know that they had filed a divorce and never went through with it until they mentioned it in the Hidden True Crime video. And then I was like, oh, really? Thanks for bringing attention to it, Mrs. Stearns. And then I realized that Plunder had the actual video. And yes, my dog is up and down. Dad's up and down. So yeah, we're all over the place over here. But she was the one that brought the attention to it. And then I saw that Plunder had it. So I went ahead and purchased it from Plunder. Is Leslie Abrams still alive? It's Abramson. Abrams is Dan Abrams. But I don't know if she's still alive. Oh, hey, NH girl. Why'd you have to sit on your hands? Pine says, I was scared of Discord too, but this community is awesome. We'll help you through it. We definitely will. If you need a moderator, go ahead and tag them. What's up, Sin? What are you eyeing? Fuck you eyeing. I know, Spitfire. It's sick. I know you are my gatekeeper. Yes, so shout out to Plunder. Yep. Nash Native just become a clicker.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man. Click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Thank you so much, Nash Native. Okay, so we're going to have the video up here. We're going to do, this is like the stream of the year. I feel so organized. Okay. So we've got our video of the Stearns over here. So we're going to use their own words. I like doing this. I like using people's own words instead of putting my words in their mouth, so to speak. So let's see where we are here.
And there was some issue about one YouTuber who called out Chris as a liar because he said he saw a picture on the phone.
Yeah, much later, I mean, I'm having a conversation again, thinking I'm having a private conversation with the deputies back in July. And
hold on, I'm just getting the audio good and stuff.
That evening had provided some very graphic detail of the image. She told me in her story was that there was a group of photos that they had downloaded off it.
Hey, bad actors.
Phone. They wanted to show these images, this package of images to Jennifer.
Okay. All right. So we've got them over here. All right. We're going to start scrolling through this divorce filing. So yeah, I've got, you're looking at the documents. Yeah, it's quite interesting, if you will. Okay. So a lot of this is just mumbo jumbo stuff. Hang on. Let me see the thumbnails over here. Okay. Because we're going to want to scroll down. So actually, Deborah Stearns filed against her husband. This is back in 1998. It's going back to the 90s tonight. Well, thank you, Spitfire. Oh, I didn't even see her sitting there. I'm sorry. Okay. So, she got this attorney, Jane Garland. And on December 27th, 1995, 2 days after Christmas, the petitioner retained her as an attorney, and Deborah Stearns was living with her mother and stepfather in Yorba Linda, California. She continued to reside in Yorba Linda until approximately July of 1996. Then Deborah left and went to California to stay with her father in Roswell, Georgia. So I'm just taking note of all of these different locations. Yorba Linda, Roswell, Georgia. It is my understanding that the respondent was attempting to reconcile with the petitioner at that time. Thereafter, I attempted to contact the petitioner on numerous occasions by telephoning her mother's residence in Yorba Linda, California, or by contacting her father's residence in Roswell, Georgia. Although I left messages at both residences requesting the petitioner to telephone me, she did not make any attempt. So this is her own lawyer. She's like, I haven't heard from her since July of 1996. So they've been trying to, close out this case or whatnot. And this is just proof that they sent letters. Like, what do you want to do here? Like, you need to communicate with me. Okay, so really that's just all of that. So we're going to get to the meat and potatoes here. So she ended up filing, let's see here. This is just all their continuances. This one is... Oh, this is her lawyer wanting to withdraw. So we need to keep going. Because they both got sent. Oh, see, she owed money. That's why she didn't want to talk to her. They weren't getting divorced. Myron. They weren't getting divorced, and it says she owes a balance, which is now in excess of $2,500. So she's like, oh, we're going to get back together, so fuck you, attorney. That's what was going on. And then the petitioner moved out of the state and failed to provide a current address and phone number. They send billing statements, and they go unheeded. I cannot continue to represent the petitioner without payment. Good job, Deborah. This is just stating the addresses in Georgia. Proof that her lawyer wanted to get rid of her. Just a bunch of shit. Hold on. When I get to the good stuff, I'll... So here is part of the divorce, the child support. So she wanted Chris to pay child support of $774 a month, payable half on the first of the month and the other half on the 15th. And then she also wanted spousal support. Now, mind you, I think Stephan was 7 at this time. Respondents shall pay spousal support of $680 a month. And then he had to cover insurance and all that jazz. And then it says that he was making $5,281 a month. That's Mr. Stearns. And he'd be responsible for all transportation because Deborah was going to stay in California. And Chris Stearns was in Georgia. Going. All right, what is this one? Oh, hearing dates. This is the income sheet, the expense sheet or whatever. Income and expense declaration sheet. This is for Deborah. She was born on 5/10. God, her birthday was right around all that stuff going on. What is your occupation? Unemployed. What's your highest year of education? High school plus 3.5 years of college. Are you currently employed? No. When did you last work? 1990. So she was on disability back then. See? Miss Stearns was getting disability back in 90. What did I say this was? 8? Stephan is the only child between these two. There is another child, an older brother, but no one really knows much about him. From what we've heard, he doesn't have anything to do with them. So down here it says she's living with her mother and stepfather. Deborah and Stephan, she was 43. Oh, it says Stephan was 10. They said in the interview he was 7. Let's go to our video for a second. I got to find the right spot. Maybe this is the wrong clip. Damn it. I think this is the wrong clip. Shit. Sorry. They talked all about this. This is their credit cards, Bullocks, Chevron, Citibank, JCPenney, Sears, and Nordstrom's. Da-da-da-da-da. Just wait. It gets good, guys. I wouldn't steer you wrong. Here is a stipulation for judgment. And she filed this in Orange County, California, by the way. And this is just the same thing with the child support that we just read. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. Child custody visitation. Number 1, the parties shall have joint legal custody of the minor child, Stephan Michael Stearns, born April 25th, 86, presently 9 years of age, with sole physical custody to petitioner, subject to respondent's right to visitation at times as agreed to between the parties. Other orders, all other issues regarding child support, spousal, and attorney's fees shall be reserved, blah, blah, blah. So Stephan was 9. Lawyers changed their firm name. Okay, here we go. Man, there's so much junk in all these papers. Okay, here we go. I, Deborah Stearns, declare I am the petitioner. I'm telling the truth. 2, the respondent and I were married on August 16th, 1980, separated December 22nd, 1995. So after 15 years of marriage, these two decided to part ways, and you're going to be shocked. So let me see if I can actually pull up the audio to put all this together. So check this one out. Yes, I have it. I do. Hold on. It's on YouTube. So hold up. Give me 1 second here. I want to do this in its entirety because you guys are going to be like, oh my God, these people. All right, let me pull it up. I forgot I uploaded it to my channel private. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, here it is. It's all right, here we go. Listen to this.
When I needed it, during our almost divorce that everybody seems to be so interested in, it happened over 30.
You guys have to see it too. You have to see their body language and everything. This is not just, the audio doesn't cover it. Okay, here we go.
During our almost divorce that everybody seems to be so interested in, it happened over 30 years ago, and
wow,
if we could get through it and forgive each other and come back stronger, why can't they just leave us alone about it?
I've never heard shit about your divorce or your almost divorce, but thanks for bringing it up because I don't really care about your damn divorce. This was a clip. Have y'all ever heard their divorce even? This is a clip from a previous live stream of mine, by the way, where I was reviewing this. Spoken about?
Interested in, it happened over 30 years ago, and if we could get through it and forgive each other and come back stronger.
Forgive each other for what? What happened, Chris? What happened? What did you need to forgive each other about? No one knew until y'all said anything. Now I want the tea. Now I want the fucking tea. I know my dog took off.
And I don't leave us alone to get through it and forgive each other and come back stronger. Why can't they just leave us alone about it? And I don't think that affected Stephan. Didn't last that long. What was it, 3 or 4 months?
Okay, Stephan was 7. So around the time he got hit, y'all. So he really was 9 going on 10. They did say he was 7. We're in this divorce thingy for 3 or 4 months.
A minute.
A minute. Didn't last that. And I don't think that affected Stephan.
Did you see her face?
And I don't think that affected Stephan. Didn't last that long. What was it, 3 or 4 months? About it.
Look how fidgety Mr. Stearns is. This is live, Jay. Look how fidgety he is throughout this. It is crazy. And then wait till you hear the divorce.
And I don't think that affected Stephan. Didn't last that long. What was it, 3 or 4 months?
A minute.
A minute out of 44 years.
Did you talk to Stephan about that situation?
I never gave him the reason why. And I was going to California because I had to have some surgery done and I needed to have somebody that could help me rehab from it because I was not.
He was never exposed to it.
Oh, no, he was.
Exposed to what, dude?
Not.
So it was like a moot point.
Huh? You had to go to California to have surgery. He was never exposed to what? The fact that you were separated?
I guess
Marco, that's Summer Lou. That is Summer Lou. These people are full of excuses about everything. That's what makes everybody side eye you.
Somebody that could help me rehab from it because I was not.
He was never exposed to it.
Oh, no, he was not.
So it was like a moot point.
I guess it was a point. But I didn't run away to California just to escape Chris. I went there because Chris was working and traveling and I needed help.
Where did Stephan go? We'll find out in a minute. Dude, this is really uncomfortable. This is... I feel like I'm listening to a conversation that I shouldn't be listening to, if you know what I mean. Okay, let's go back to our document now. So now you guys know what they said on Hidden True Crime, right? And we can refer back to that if needed. But I just wanted to put out there what they said. She said, oh, it lasted a few months, and oh, it didn't affect Stephan, and I didn't even have to talk to him about it. Like, okay, lady. Okay, lady. Well, we're going to find out different. The respondent and I were married August 16th, 1980, and we separated in 1995. There was one child, the issue of our marriage. That's weird wording. Stephan Michael Stearns, born April 25th, 1986, presently 9 years of age. Like, oh, he had no idea what was going on, right? The respondent and I in the state of Florida until approximately September 2nd, 1995, when our son and I returned to Yorba Linda, California to reside. I returned to California for the purpose of having surgery on both feet and physical therapy following surgery. It was my belief when I arrived that I would live here for approximately 1 year in order to sufficiently recover. Since that time, I have discovered that our marriage has ended, and as a result, I intend to continue to make Southern California the permanent residence for my son and me. On approximately December 14th, 1995, the respondent, which is Chris Stearns, telephoned me and told me that he felt that we should separate because he was unhappy in the marriage. I asked him why at Christmas time. He had decided to inform me that he wanted to end our marriage. The respondent indicated to me that he did not feel that there was any appropriate time to end a marriage. I discovered the respondent has been leading a double life. One part of which he has kept completely secret from me. Vince, what is up, Vince? I discovered that the respondent has had an ongoing relationship with a woman he refers to as Pooh. Pooh.
Like, what the fuck is this? And everybody's like, what the fuck is this?
I have found notes and cards passed between the two of them. A book, which was gifted to the respondent by Pooh, entitled The Art of Sexual Ecstasy. But wait a second. I thought you were in California and he called you to tell you the marriage was over. So you already knew? You already knew about Pooh? And he had to tell you, hey, I don't want to be married anymore. Right? So she had to have known. I discovered the respondent has been leading a double life, one part of which he kept completely secret from me. How would you know about these letters and shit? But wait, you're going to find out how, because it didn't just last a few months, Mrs. Stearns. A book which was gifted to the respondent by Pooh, entitled The Art of Sexual Ecstasy, references to a commemoration of and celebration of a 15th anniversary between the two of them.
God almighty.
Mind you,
Bing bong.
These two had been married for 15 years. Do you remember? Do you remember? Listen, they were married 15 years when she filed for divorce. She had evidence that he had had this affair for 15 years. Their entire marriage. I mean, what? And interestingly, a necktie with a wedding design consisting of wedding cakes, wedding rings, etc. I do not know if the respondent and Pooh are supposedly married. And if so, if this marriage occurred prior or subsequent to our marriage. What? This is crazy.
What?
She's questioning if he's married to another woman. Moreover, in looking back through bank statements and canceled checks for the past approximately 1.5 years, I have discovered that the respondent has spent excessive amounts of money on traveling, an average of $800 a month in monthly telephone bills, etc. In addition, it gets worse. Are you ready? I have found ads in his personal items advertising pornographic videos, dildos, etc.
These nuts.
Can you? I mean, what the fuck, right? Our gut feelings were spot on, dude. Ooh-wee. Let's go back to this for a moment. This takes on a whole new meaning, y'all, once you know this shit about Daddy-O. Wait, we got to go to the other one. Hold up. Not this one. Sorry. We got to go to this one now. Now listen to this. Look at him for. Okay, listen.
And there was some issue about one YouTuber who called out Chris as a liar because he said he saw a picture on the phone.
Yeah, much later, I'm having a conversation again, thinking I'm having a private conversation with the deputies.
Hold on, I've got to make this bigger so you guys can read it. Give me a sec. Okay. So he's talking about an image of Maddie. Okay, listen.
Back in July. And, Jen that evening had provided some very graphic detail of the image. She told me in her story was that there was a group of photos that they had downloaded off it.
Hey, bad actors.
Phone. They wanted to show these images, this package of images to Jennifer. She said that she couldn't.
Package of images. His wording is awful. I'm sorry. And look at the mom. Look at Deborah. He's got his hands up this package of images. Look at Dr. John. Package of images. Ew.
See them, but agreed to look at one. Then she shared with me in graphic detail what that image was. 5 months later, I'm thinking throughout that time that she had the opportunity to maybe grab a photo of that, and because once you describe that to me, I can't get it out of my mind. It becomes ingrained and printed, and I'm thinking that there's an image in my mind that I must have seen a photo,
Blah, 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 blah. He's saying it. He thought it was a photo because she explained it so graphically. Oh, I thought maybe Jen got an image of that. You wouldn't remember? Ew.
Then one of these YouTubers accused me of lying and making this stuff up, and it was really my bad. I apologize.
My bad. It was my bad.
I thought it was an image I saw when in fact it was a graphical image in my mind, but I thought I'd seen it.
It was a graphical image in my mind. Yes, he said he must have seen it. He thought it was a private conversation with the cops, but his bad. He misspoke.
A photo. So I apologize for that, but I'd seen a photo. It was bad. I apologize. I thought it was an image I saw when in fact it was a graphical image in my mind, but I thought I'd seen a photo. Again, you're dealing with this stuff 7-8 months ago. There was a lot of stuff going on that evening, especially, trying to gauge Jennifer's demeanor after learning that her daughter had been SA'd. We're cleaning out his room a few weeks later, come across this USB drive, 2 of them, as a matter of fact. I put one in both of them computer. One had nothing, just like the other.
Oh my God, Rachel.
The other one, I just hovered my mouse over the fields, didn't see any image because, again, you can't unsee what you see.
It's just file names,
File names.
You, what? Look at Lauren. She's like, oh my God. Dude, what the fuck did we just hear? She's like, no, it was just the file names. It was just the file names, dear. Not that we didn't see anything. What?
In fact, I put one in both of them computer. One had nothing, just like the evidence shows. The other one, I just hovered my mouse over the fields, didn't see any image because, again, you can't unsee what you see.
It's just file names,
File names, and just from the description, I said, this is not good.
The description? What? What kind of description? You saw the thumbnails. Stop it. You moused over it and you saw the thumbnails.
Nothing, just like the evidence shows. The other one, I just hovered my mouse over the fields, didn't see any image because, again, you can't unsee what you see.
It's just file names,
File names, and just from the description, I said, this is not good. And I texted the detective and told him that I had some evidence to turn over to him. It took them 3 weeks to come collect it. Matter of fact, I had to remind them I had this and that it was sitting here waiting for them to come collect. And then to learn later in July, when I had a conversation with them before this information was dumped out, that there were 35,000 images on that USB drive. And I couldn't believe it. It's unbelievable. I mean, he had to get access to a data dump of some sort, but it's just unbelievable. And why did he have possession of something like that?
Why didn't he take it to the police department? Wait a minute. They didn't come get it, and he didn't say, oh my God, I need this out of my house. You can't unsee what you see. Oh, look at Debbie. Look at Debbie's. The fuck? They were seeing if he. Oh my God. Why would you even want that in your house?
Actually, detective and told him that I had some evidence to turn over to him. It took them 3 weeks to come collect it. Matter of fact, I had to remind them I had this and that it was sitting here waiting for them to come collect. And then to learn later in July, when I had a conversation with them before this information was dumped out, that there were 35,000 images on that USB drive. And I couldn't believe it. It's unbelievable. I mean, he had to get access to a data dump of some sort. It's just unbelievable. And why did he have possession of something like that? But every time we found evidence, I immediately notified the police. I mean, that drive was, but I didn't imagine that you could hold 35,000 images on it, you know? Well, I guess they can hold gigabytes of stuff, so I guess they can, but it's just hard to believe it.
I feel sorry for the person who went through it and looked at every single image.
And the detectives did. Yep.
30,000 images? That's amazing. Did you have to view all 30,000? Yes. How long does it take to do that? 30,000 images? That's amazing. Did you have to view all 30,000? Yes. How long does it take to do that? A long time. Talk about not unseen.
Why do you even care? If I would have been that detective, I would.
You know why? Because we now know that Chris Stearns had in his possession a USB drive with those images on them. And on Hidden True Crime, he admitted to mousing over them, but says he didn't view them. But he's asking the cops, how long did it take you? Why are you trying to compare how long it took you compared to how much time they put into, viewing them on their own to see if you're weird for looking at them? Are you comparing the times? Well, how long did you look at them for? And he seems proud of that number. Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. No, it's fucking sick. It's disturbing, not amazing.
I can't tell you how long it takes us to look at 30,000 pictures.
Something. It's, I envy your job and then I don't envy your job. I know it's fascinating work, but at the same time, you're left with a lifetime of that shit. Yeah, you see it a lot. Yeah, for sure.
How disturbing is that? All right, let's go back to the documents now. I mean, nothing about this is okay, right? We can all agree on that, I think. Okay, back to this. What she found, right? Let's get back in the... This is back in the 90s now. They were married for 15 years.
You don't hold account.
They were married for 15 years. And then she found evidence of an affair that was going on for 15 years. She found personal items advertising pornographic videos, dildos, etc. I believe that discovery may be extensive in order to determine if the respondent gifted this woman with our community assets. I am astounded and amazed I had absolutely no idea that the respondent was living this existence parallel to our marriage. The respondent's employment has been in sales, and as a result, he has been required to travel a great deal of the time. In the last 6 months of our marriage, the respondent was gone every week, at least for one half of the week. Prior to that time, the respondent usually traveled during the week and was only at home on the weekends, if he came home at all. I am presently receiving disability as my only income. I am unable to work due to the fact that I have limited mobility and a great deal of pain as a result of foot surgery I underwent in 1990. Since the surgery that caused the damage to my feet, I have had 4 major surgeries in order to try and correct the damage. I will be going into the 5th major surgery soon after the first of the year. After the surgery, it is expected that I will have to undergo physical therapy for at least 1 year. During this rehab time, I will be barely mobile, and I do not know when I will be fully ambulatory again. As a result of the fact I am unable to work and the respondent is employed earning in excess of $60,000 per year, I respectfully request that the court order the respondent to pay child and spousal support to me according to guideline, and the fact that I believe the respondent has the ability to pay. I further respectfully request that the court order that the respondent advance $4,000 in attorney fees and $1,000 in costs. And that is pretty much it for, I think so. I don't think there's anything else juicy. Wait, hold on. Yeah, there is. There's something about Stephan in here. Hold on. We have to look through all these. They had a mediation appointment. I thought there was something in here about Stephan, but maybe not. I mean, it's bad enough. Oh, here's something. So to trade off Stephan, so they were in Sarasota. Notice this is weird. Okay. We have them in Georgia. We have them in California. We have them in Florida. But back in the 90s, this was filed in 96. It says that they would have a designated meeting spot, Captain Brian's Restaurant, 8441 North Tamiami Trail in Sarasota, Florida. And Mr. Stearns is from Winter Haven, and he had a P.O. box at this time in Sarasota, Florida. But she's saying that they're in Georgia, and then it's weird. Like, did he ever live in California with them? I don't understand. This is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Here's all the addresses. Look. Child's name. And look, he was born in Illinois. Stephan Stearns. He was born in Illinois. Aurora, Illinois. Then they lived Then they lived in Lilburn, Georgia. Then Yorba Linda, California. Then Sarasota, Florida. Then Sarasota, Florida. Then Yorba Linda, California again. This is the weirdest shit. It sounds like they had multiple residences because they lived on some horse farm too. Because in here it says she wants the horse trailer. Here's another address, Kennesaw, Georgia. I mean, what the hell? I never seen so many people have so many addresses in the same time frame. So she wants all assets as listed. The 1987 Ford F-150 pickup, a horse trailer, a 1992 Volvo 940, proceeds from the settlement of a medical malpractice lawsuit.
God almighty.
Miscellaneous crystal, china, silver, artwork, decorative accessories, furniture and furnishings, jewelry. And that is it. Now, knowing what you know, let's go back up. And here, Stephan Stearns is listed here as well. And it says here, see, Sarasota. Isn't that weird? I don't understand all these residences, like 591 to 1091. Like, how can your kid be in school and like move this much? I don't understand it. That's wild to me. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right. But Mr. Stearns, she made mention of that. Oh, I don't know why everybody's making such a big deal. It's like she wants him shamed. How many of you think that she wanted him shamed? Why would she bring that up? No, he was a cop for a short time, and then he went into sales. He's been a salesman. The majority of his life is sales. But I have found ads in his personal items advertising pornographic videos, dildos, etc. Oh, who is Pooh? Will Pooh make herself known? I would love to know who Pooh is. Pooh, if you're out there. Pooh. Ugh, didn't Stearns say, oh, she poo-pooed the idea? She poo-pooed the idea. Okay. Now, one last time, y'all. Take it all in.
And there was some issue about one YouTuber who called out Chris as a liar because he said he saw a picture on the phone.
Yeah, much later, I'm having a conversation again, thinking I'm having a private conversation with the deputies back in July. And, Jen that evening had provided some very graphic detail of the image. She told me in her story was that there was a group of photos that they had downloaded off it.
Hey, bad actors.
Phone. They wanted to show these images, this package of images to Jennifer. She said that she couldn't.
Package of images. His wording is awful. I'm sorry. And look at the mom. Look at Deborah. He's got his hands up this package of images. Look at Dr. John. You can't see Dr. John. Images. Ew.
See them, but agreed to look at one. Then she shared with me in graphic detail what that image was. 5 months later, I'm thinking throughout that time that she had the opportunity to maybe grab a photo of that, and because once you describe that to me, I can't get it out of my mind. It becomes ingrained and printed, and I'm thinking that there's an image in my mind that I must have seen a photo,
Blah, 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 blah. He's saying it. He thought it was a photo because she explained it so graphically. Oh, I thought maybe Jen got an image of that. You wouldn't remember? Ew.
Then one of these YouTubers accused me of lying and making this stuff up, and it was really my bad. I apologize.
My bad. It was my bad.
I thought it was an image I saw when in fact it was a graphical image in my mind, but I thought I'd seen it.
It was a graphical image in my mind. Yes, he said he must have seen it. He thought it was a private conversation with the cops, but his bad. He misspoke.
A photo. So I apologize for that, but I'd seen a photo. It was bad. I apologize. I thought it was an image I saw when in fact it was a graphical image in my mind, but I thought I'd seen a photo. Again, you're dealing with this stuff. 7-8 months ago, there was a lot of stuff going on that evening, especially, trying to gauge Jennifer's demeanor after learning that her daughter had been SA'd. We're cleaning out his room a few weeks later, come across this USB drive.
Oh, we're cleaning out his room a few weeks later, and we come across this USB drive. Well, he finds 2 of them. Look at Lauren. He's like, oh, did you? One was blank and one had images on it, but he only moused over them.
I have 2 of them, as a matter of fact. I put one in both of them computer. One had nothing, just like the
Oh my God, Rachel.
The other one, I just hovered my mouse over the fields, didn't see any image because, again, you can't unsee what you see.
It's just file names,
File names.
You, what? Look at Lauren. She's like, oh my God. Okay, I think we all know that there's no way those 35, I mean, maybe, but I don't think there's any way that those 35,000 images, in my opinion, had descriptors. I'm thinking those images maybe were file names, like with numbers. That's how I'm picturing, because he says, oh, he must have got a data dump. Got a data dump, or did he dump the hard drive onto the USB? And they sure like to deflect back to Jen. Yes, they do, Nash. Dude, what the fuck did we just hear? She's like, no, it was just the file names. It was just the file names, dear. Not that we didn't see anything. What?
In fact, I put one in both of them computer. One had nothing, just like the evidence shows. The other one, I just hovered my mouse over the fields, didn't see any image because, again, you can't unsee what you see.
It's just file names,
File names, and just from the description, I said, this is not good.
The description? Right. What? What do we think the descriptions even said? Do you guys think it was numbers? Or do you think it was like, oh, he saw an image that said so-and-so doing such and such? I'm thinking they were probably numbers, if I had to guess. Yeah, I'd like to know where Pooh is as well. Is that the same day that Mom found the sex torso? Exactly. They had already dealt with stuff in sort. Yep. Because they paid off the roommate to keep his mouth shut. They knew that this dude was. Yeah, I wonder how strange Pooh is. Pooh, we want to hear from you, Pooh. Pooh. We want to hear from you, seriously. Nothing but respect, Pooh. What kind of description? You saw the thumbnails. Stop it. You moused over it and you saw the thumbnails. Either that or he looked at each one, because he asked that cop, he's like, how long? You looked at every single one? How long did it take you to do that? What? Who asks that, you know?
Nothing, just like the evidence shows. The other one, I just hovered my mouse over the fields, didn't see any image because, again, you can't unsee what you see.
It's just file names,
File names, and just from the description, I said, this is not good. And I texted the detective and told him that I had some evidence to turn over to him. It took them 3 weeks to come collect it. And in fact, I had to remind them I had this and that it was sitting here waiting for them to come collect.
Do you think that maybe he was being tested to see if he would view those? I wonder if they can tell if the... I wonder if... Shane, you crack me up. I wonder if... Look at her with her hand. Oh, man. He's itching his nose. She's got... This is... They looked. They knew. They looked. But do you think that the cops let him sit on it for a few weeks? Do you think they can tell if those were accessed and when? I wonder.
And then to learn later, in July when I had a conversation with them before this information was dumped out that there were 35,000 images on that USB drive. And I couldn't believe it. It's unbelievable. I mean, somebody
Good
he had to
point,
get access to
Lindsay.
a data dump of some sort, but it's just unbelievable. And why did he have possession of something like that?
Why didn't he take it to the police department? Wait a minute. They didn't come get it, and he didn't say, oh my God, I need this out of my house. You can't unsee what you see. Oh. The fuck? They were seeing if he, oh my God. Why would you even want that in your house?
Actually, the detective and told them that I had some evidence to turn over to him. It took them 3 weeks to come collect it. Matter of fact, I had to remind them I had this and that it was sitting here waiting for them to come collect. And then to learn later in July when I had a conversation with them before this information was dumped out that there were 35,000 images on that USB drive. And I couldn't believe it. It's unbelievable. I mean, he had to get access to a data dump of some sort.
No.
It's just unbelievable. And why did he have possession of something like that? But every time
he's a pedo.
Found evidence, I immediately notified the police. I mean, that drive was, but I didn't imagine that you could hold 35,000 images on it, you know?
I can't imagine you could hold 35,000 images on it, and then he goes on and on.
Well, I guess they can hold gigabytes of stuff, so I guess they can. But
oh, he goes on and on and on. I mean, this dude just doesn't shut up. I guess they can hold gigabytes and all that. Like, oh, but I don't really know much about it. But then he also told us he's a techie guy. He's a techie guy. Yeah, Nash, make that make sense, right?
It's just hard to believe it.
I feel sorry for the person who went through it and looked at every single image.
And the detectives did. Yep.
Okay, that to me. So she says, I feel sorry for the person that had to look at every single image. And he says, and those detectives did. Then we get the audio from a different interview with Mr. Stearns. The next clip is Mr. Stearns popping in to the Kissimmee Police Department to see if, in other words, he's fishing around, in my opinion, but to see if they need anything from him. He's fishing around, in my opinion, to see what they know. Yeah, his wife either glares at him or can't look at him. She even put her hand up at one point. I've got more clips I'm putting together of them where she talks about the Hustler mag, and he goes on and on about, oh, that was probably found in the garbage. You know, kids find that shit in the garbage. No, they don't. No, they don't. I thought I could find it right quick, but... hold on a second. No, I can't find it offhand, but anyways, let's keep going.
They can hold gigabytes of stuff, so I guess they can, but it's just hard to believe it.
I feel sorry for the person who went through it and looked at every single
Okay, here
image.
comes the audio.
And the detectives did. Yep.
30,000 images. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Did you have to view all 30,000? Yes. How long does it take to do that? 30,000 images. That's amazing. Did you have to view all 30,000?
Yes.
How long does it take to do that?
A long time. A long time.
Talk about not unseen.
Why do you even care?
He says, talk about not being able to unsee something. Talk about not being able to unsee something.
If I would have been that detective, I would.
You know why? Because we now know that Chris Stearns had in his possession a USB drive with those images on them. And on Hidden True Crime, he admitted to mousing over them, but says he didn't view them. But he's asking the cops, how long did it take you? Why are you like trying to compare how long it took you compared to how much time they put into, viewing them on their own to see if you're weird for looking at them? Are you comparing the times? Well, how long did you look at them for? And he seems proud of that number. Wow, that's amazing.
Been like,
amazing. No, it's fucking sick. It's disturbing, not amazing.
I can't tell you how long it takes us to look at 30,000 pictures.
Something.
Yeah,
it's.
I envy your job, and then I don't envy your job. I know it's fascinating work, but at the same time, you're left with a lifetime of that shit.
Yeah, you see it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Hey, Misty, welcome in. But yeah, how disturbing is this? Y'all are going to have to be kind and rewind because we are just wrapping up. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let's do a quick poll. Oh, you know what? Screw the poll. Listen, you know what? Another thing that came out was that and Miss Lauren asks Mr. Stearns, do you it's been rumored, or no, maybe it was Dr. John said, it's been rumored that, Stephan, there was some essay, from your side, and they were like, oh, absolutely not. Like, just, I can't wait to clip all these because it's just so telling. It's almost like he enjoyed hearing that cop say, like, does he say, did you have to look?
You still got to treat him as your son. Yeah. And
30,000 images. That's amazing. Did you have to view all 30,000?
Yes.
How long does it take to do that?
Long 30.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. What's amazing is how disturbing that is. Hold on, I'm going to find something. Well, there were 2 USB drives. Look at it, Lord. I'm trying to find the hustler thing. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Remember this part? Listen.
La, 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 la. You don't hold
that had been so hard. So hard. And people who said that he should have thrown Maddie in a lake and let the alligators eat her, or,
Huh? Like, whoever said that? No one ever said that about Maddie. What is wrong with these people, man? Hold on. Still looking for this one clip. Chris is a liar. exactly of his father. Oh. Conversation chat. Here it is.
On this topic, there's a rumor out there about there being SA in Stephan's background. I think some of the rumors involve you guys even. There's rumors about...
Did you see Mom? Did you see Mom? Well, you guys can't see Dr. John said there's rumors involving you guys. Oh, shit. Okay, let me send this to the computer so you guys can see it. We'll play one more clip. I mean, this is just bonkers. These people are bonkers. Culks, are you still here? Thank you, everybody who's still here. This is a live or a long Friday today. This is a long Friday. Okay, hold on. It's airdropping. Hold the phone. Okay, here we go. What would we do without airdrop? What would we do without it? 1524, where are you? Okay, here we go. All right, it's not anything special. It's just a screen recording, but you'll get the gist of it. Let's get it up here first. Get this over here. All right, let's see what we got.
And there was some issue about one YouTuber who called out Chris as a liar because he said he saw a picture.
Hold on, we gotta skip this one.
The phone.
Yeah, much later, I mean, I'm having a conversation again, thinking I'm having a private conversation with the deputies back in July. And, you know, Jen that evening had
We're gonna skip
provided
this.
some very graphic detail of the image. She told me in her story was that there was a group of photos that they had downloaded off it.
Hey, bad actors.
Phone. They wanted to show these images, this package of
we gotta scroll. It's
there's rumors about...
Oh, yeah, this part right here. You ready? Hold on. Do I zoom in on them the rest of the time? I do. Okay. Or are they kind of poking fun at the essay? Watch.
Stuff 7-8 months ago. There's a lot of stuff going on that evening, especially, you know, trying to gauge Jennifer's demeanor after learning that her daughter had been essayed. If it was me, I'd
watch how he laughs when the rumors come out.
Whether I physically could or could not. And she was totally composed.
Okay, but you knew that your son had 30 plus graphic images. Why weren't you beating your son's ass? Why were you and are you so composed? Make it make sense. I'd love you too, Kalkis.
And
unemotional.
Quite calm about the whole thing. It was just very strange.
Unemotional.
And she was totally composed and
unemotional.
Quite calm about the whole thing. It was just very strange.
What? Now that we're on this topic, there's a rumor out there about
Pine Needle,
about there being SA in Stephan's background. I think some of the rumors involve you guys even. There's rumors about...
Did you see Mom? Did you see Mom? Watch this shit. Dr. John said there's rumors involving you guys. Oh, shit. Dr. John. Look at his mom. Bombs. His mom. Look at her face. Bang. Look at her face.
About there being SA in Stephan's background. I think some of the rumors involve you guys even. There's rumors about.
What the fuck? Watch them. His dad laughs. His dad laughs when they say there's SA in his background and mom says, bring it.
What? Now that we're on this topic,
I mean, how is that even
there's a
funny?
rumor out there about there being SA in Stephan's background. I think some of the rumors involve you.
Is that funny, Mr. Stearns? Is that funny, Mr. Stearns?
You guys even. There's rumors about
just me
giving him.
She says, just me. What the hell was that What? Just me. We have to go back. Hold on. Yes, he did the freaking the John Ramsey tongue. The John, I know. She's like, bring it on, woman. She's like, bring it on. Like Ann C. Taylor. Bring it on, woman.
I think some of the rumors involve you guys even. There's rumors about.
What the fuck? Watch them.
And you know what
his
I have to
dad
say to
laughs.
Nancy Taylor,
His dad
defense lawyer?
laughs when they say
Bring it
there's
on, woman.
SA in his background and mom says, bring it.
What? Now that we're on this topic, there's a rumor out there about there being SA in Stephan's background. I think some of the rumors involve you.
Is that funny, Mr. Stearns? Is that funny, Mr. Stearns?
You guys even. There's rumors about
just me
giving him.
She says, just me. Just me.
I say in Stephan's background. I think some of the rumors involve you guys even. There's rumors about
exactly, Lindsay.
Giving him explicit material. Again, I can't use terms because of YouTube, but what could you guys set the record straight on that?
You bet. Number one, it was, from what we heard, it's Hustler magazine, the nastiest magazine.
Oh, look at Mr. Stearns. Oh, Mr. Stearns, did you have dirty magazines? Did you have dirty magazines? This was before I got the divorce docs. I had no idea at this time when I did this review that we're watching right now, which everything is allegedly, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. But I had no idea that he had poo, right? I had no idea there was a poo. And she brings up Hustler and he's like, oh, he's off to the side, ashamed. And she's got her arm up, putting that barrier.
That was ever printed, never
Right.
came home. I would never buy it, and I would certainly never give it to my child.
Watch Mr. Stearns' behavior again when she brings up Hustler. Watch.
You bet. Number one, it was, from what we heard, it's Hustler magazine, the nastiest magazine.
Oh, look at Mr. Stearns. Oh, Mr. Stearns, did you have dirty magazines? Did you have dirty magazines?
That was ever printed, never
Right.
came home. I would never buy it, and I would certainly never give it to my child. I mean,
None of that material existed in her house, but
Oh, are you believing it? Amy, you lost power again? It's back on now? Sorry, that's
Everybody
a replay.
stay
safe. What?
you know, I'm sure, you know, back then, that day and age, you know, magazines tossed to the street in trash cans. Somebody has it. Other kids bring it to school. Maybe.
Oh, wow. Look at Deborah. Look at Deborah. Oh, boy. Oh, they were found in the garbage, you know, back then. Back then. Oh, shit, Kels. Kels, that's a replay. Oh, other kids bring it to school, you know. Look at, oh, you know, that material never existed in our house, but, you know, I'm sure, you know, other kids brought it to school, and that day and age, you could just find those kind of magazines in the trash, Nope. I've never seen a dirty magazine in the trash ever. I've never, ever. Never, ever, ever. Have I ever?
These nuts.
Can you bring me the... Put a 1 in chat if you've ever found a hustler in the trash.
Back then, that day in the house, but I'm sure back.
Look at Deborah. Look at Deborah.
Back then, that day and age, magazines tossed to the street in trash cans. Somebody has it. Other kids bring it to school. Maybe they even try to sell it, but certainly that type.
What? Wait, maybe other kids bring it to school and try to sell it? What mindset is that? Sell it? Why is he bringing up selling magazines? Huh? This dude is tripping over his own words. Look at Deborah. Lord have mercy, y'all. Oh. Watch again. Watch again.
I mean, none of that material existed in our house, but I'm sure back then, that day and age, magazines tossed to the street in trash cans. Somebody has it. Other kids bring it to school. Maybe they even try to sell it, but certainly that type of stuff circulated and what have you.
So in other words, Dad had the hustlers. He cut the little ad out for the dildos, etc. And we're shocked, They're not shocked that that their son had a sex torso. Dad had ads for dildos in the 90s, right? That he probably tore out of the Hustler mags, that he threw away so his wife wouldn't find them, and then his son found them. I mean, really? Blame it on kids at school? Your son probably took them to school. Did you give them to your son and say, hey, go sell them?
Bing bang.
Have no idea where he came in possession of this, but it was not provided by us, and there was never any physical abuse or sexual SA abuse at home. None of that. He was always provided a warm, loving, caring environment. So none of that's true.
Ooh. Watch Deborah's face.
Do you think there were any?
Watch Deborah's face when he says a warm, caring environment. Does that look like a warm, caring man? He was provided a warm, caring environment. Right. Their kid was unaffected by their dysfunction. They didn't even tell him they separated. He was almost 10 years old. Oh, my God.
Abuse at home. None of that. He was always provided a warm, loving, caring environment. So none of that's true.
Do you think there were any?
Ooh, scrap owl. His mother paid off an old roommate to not turn him into the police for images he had on his computer. Blit.
Any red flags in that area in terms of, I don't know, maybe some of the girls he was dating in high school?
Yeah, the
or
15-year-old.
Did you see any
Kendall?
red flags about any unusual
Let's talk about
sexual
Kendall.
interests or problems?
His first girlfriend he had in California, he was really had a big crush on her. We met her, sweet girl.
Sweet girl.
We left California.
Met her, sweet girl. Isn't that what Stephan said about Maddie? She's a sweet girl. She's a good kid. She's a sweet girl. His first girlfriend was like 15 and he was like 19 or 20.
When the state went batshit crazy, excuse my French, but hey, it's California.
When that state went batshit crazy, excuse my French.
And we left there, but hey, to California. And we left there and came to Florida. You know, at that age, kids.
What happened to Georgia, Mr. Stearns? Didn't you go from California to Georgia to Florida? Again, this review was before I saw all of the addresses. Georgia, Florida was first. Weird. And then she said also that her and Mr. Stearns, remember when she talked about when they got married? She said we didn't even know each other. We knew each other for 5 weeks and got married.
Your kids circulate through kids like people go through revolving doors. You know, one kid comes in, hey, doors. This is so-and-so, okay, and then you never see him again. There's a parade of those instances or what have you. One of the dogs, a friend of his came in, an acquaintance of his came in. And
look how she's comforting him now. She's got her hand on his arm. He is not taking her comfort. He's not touching her. Okay, so he's talking about a friend of Stephan's. Now listen.
She didn't appreciate him. She let it be known too. Kind of nipped him in the backside.
One of their dogs bit Stephan's friend in the backside.
She wouldn't let him in the door.
Yeah.
She backed him up against the wall.
Not coming in.
And
these people
nipped him on the butt until he went out the door.
They talk about the kids coming in like a revolving door. Okay.
A friend of his came in, an acquaintance of his came in. And
look how she's comforting him now. She's got her. So why did it go from a friend to an acquaintance? Hey, Vivian, we're deep diving the Stearns. How did it go from a friend to an acquaintance? And why an acquaintance? Why are they putting the distance between Stephan and this friend that got, quote, nipped in the backside by one of their dogs?
One of the dogs, a friend of his came in, an acquaintance of his came in. And
look how she's comforting him now. She's got her hand on his arm. He is not taking her comfort. He's not touching her.
She didn't appreciate him. She let it be known too. Kind of nipped him in the backside.
She wouldn't let him in the door.
Yeah.
She backed him up against the wall.
Not coming in.
And
these people. Oh, they're not talking about the dog. They're talking. Oh, okay. It's an analogy. He's saying that this girl nipped him in the backside. The comment regarding age, same comment Seth made to excuse predator behavior. I didn't catch it. What was their comment, Pine?
Sorry.
So they're saying basically this girl screwed him over. Wouldn't let him in the door.
Known too. Kind of nipped him in the backside.
She wouldn't let him in the door.
Yeah.
She backed him up against the wall.
Not coming in.
And
these people
nipped him on the butt until he went out the door again. And we later found out this was the same friend of his that overdosed on heroin and died.
Oh.
There was another incident, and I don't think.
Oh, there's why the distance, because his friend overdosed on heroin and died. That's why it went from a friend to an acquaintance. These people are pieces of shit. How dare you people? Oh, the guy was a friend until he had a problem and he overdosed and died. Now he's an acquaintance. Well, guess what? Your son's a pedophile. Allegedly, in my opinion. Wow, they're judging his friend who overdosed and downgrading him from a friend to an acquaintance because they think that they have some kind of appearance to uphold. I'm sorry, but your appearance sucks.
And we later found out this was the same friend of his that overdosed on heroin and died.
Oh.
There was another incident, and I don't think we've ever brought this up before, and that is in California. He was walking down the street with a couple of friends and his girlfriend, and this man.
Oh, this is a great story.
Was very inappropriate.
So a man was very inappropriate. Never Stephan's fault. Stephan's never the inappropriate one. But he was with his girlfriend and some California went batshit crazy when they changed their laws. Oh, wow. For some other kids. All right. Well, that is the end of our presentation tonight. I want to thank you guys all for sticking around and being here. I'm going to end this. If you're replaying, I'm in a chapter so you guys can catch each segment. We went over a lot of stuff tonight. I've enjoyed your comments and discussing these 3 cases with you. And I look forward to further updates. So free the Menendez brothers. I think they've spent enough time in prison, in my opinion. The Stearns are bizarre, in my opinion. And what else did we talk about? The sheriff. We will definitely be following up to see why the sheriff. Look what was on my screen. Look what just popped up in my memories today. I can't. Here you go. That, and we have another screenshot. What's this? Random screenshots to go out with. We got Sept and Karen Strom, and I'm not sure who else, at a vigil. And then we have Betty choking on a potato. I know, I always learn stuff with you guys. I know, thanks for going back in time with me, Pine. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, Sin, Kels, for staying up. I know it's late. Lindsay, I've really enjoyed your commentary, and you too, Spitfire. I hope to see you guys again in the next one. And Myron, let's roll our credits. Say bye, Summer Lou. Say bye, everybody. Summer Lou says bye. Have a nice Saturday. We'll see you in the next one. So much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further?
Bring it all in.
And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to France, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back. 'Cause I ain't got time for that. I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 too much, and now you don't feel the way you felt when we were younger. But that's okay for me, 'cause I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn.
John Wayne Bobbitt's penis.
I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn.
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Jennifer loves horses.
Cocaine. Cocaine.
Cocaine.
It's cocaine. It's cocaine.
I didn't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I didn't want to see anybody else either.
Bye, Jennifer.